What's up, Rust friends? My name is Iridian, and I'm joined by my lovely, lovely Rust friend, Teddy. We are your Rust friends, your wrestling friends, your wrestling best friends, all that good wrestling chisme. Where do you find it? With us, right, Teddy?
Yes, exactly.
Rust friend, I feel like I haven't seen you in a full 24 hours, and I haven't because it's true.
I mean,
24
yeah,
hours?
no, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's been a little bit longer than 24 hours, so
Yeah,
it's valid, restaurant.
yeah,
Are us missing each other
totally
valid?
valid.
Yes.
And there has just been so much wrestling in the past couple weeks between WrestleMania, the Ring of Honor shows. We went to Windy City Riot together.
Mhm.
There's just so much. I know we gave our WrestleMania predictions. Some of them are right, some of them are wrong,
Yeah.
but we're going to go through them all today. And we are joined by, of course, our co hosts, which is everybody in the comment section. So
Yes. I was like, wait,
you're like, wait,
who's gonna surprise us?
surprise. Tony
Hello.
Khan is here.
Not Tony Khan.
Tony Connor, Triple H is here. Could you imagine? He would need his own theme song to come on in with us.
I mean, to have Tony Khan or Triple H would be crazy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if Tony Khan was here, would you be scared that Triple H wouldn't like us? Or if Triple H was here, would you be scared that Tony wouldn't like
A
us?
little bit.
Right? We would have
Yeah.
to put a disclaimer and be like, we love
Mhm.
everybody.
We love everybody. Everybody, please be nice. Like, we want to work everywhere. So
Except, and then we put a little list of except the people we
except,
don't
and it's just like a
like.
scrolling list, like Star Wars, where people are just like going, I'm dead. Yeah. Well, Russ friend, I went to WrestleMania. I was in
Mhm.
Philly and I had such a cool time, but there was also things that were like not a cool time. And we're going to talk about it all here. So
Yes, please.
I am excited because I have not, like, I've given you bits and pieces of like what happened, and the group chat that we have, it's like we've said things, but I don't think we've said like everything.
Yeah.
So let's talk about my experience in Philly. Yeah, WrestleMania, both shows, both nights, incredible,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
In Philly, it was cold.
I was wondering the whole time how it was there. 'Cause-
It was really cold, and I guess not a colds that is like colder than Chicago,
yeah.
but it's just I guess we weren't prepared to be outside for hours in a stadium that was breezy.
Yeah.
So me and Bestie Low from Wrestling Wind Down, she booked her flight that had a transfer here in
Mhm.
Chicago. So I met her at the
That's
airport
so cute,
and
besties.
she was messaging me. She's like, "Where are you at?" And I was like, "Look left," because I saw her like looking, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm right here." So we got on the plane together and we're like, "Oh my god, we're ready." We're watching the Barbie movie.
Okay.
It took us like an hour to get to Philly. Well, like an hour and a half. The pilot was like, "We're gonna land early," and we're like, "Oh, okay, great." 30 minutes later, we're like, we could have watched half of the more of the Barbie movie. But anyway, we were surrounded by wrestling fans. There was a
Yeah.
lot of people who had the wrestling merch on. As soon as I don't know, when the plane landed, people were like, "Whoa!" Like
Okay.
it was intense. And in that kind of moment, I guess me and Lo were like grateful that we weren't wearing anything that was wrestling related
Yeah.
because it was early.
Yeah.
Lo had been on a 3-hour flight from Vegas to here.
Yeah.
So we're like, man, it's gonna be a long flight. It's gonna be a long day. But then we were like, I guess nothing better to get us into the spirit of WrestleMania than wrestling fans losing their minds on the airplane, right?
I can't I can't imagine that, like the airplane landing and everyone just being like, "Whoa." You didn't join, I'm assuming.
No, no,
Okay.
no,
Because
because it
even though
caught me
you're
off
a huge
guard.
Cody
Yeah, yeah,
fan,
yeah.
but
There,
sorry, that's funny.
there was and then we get to the Philadelphia airport, and right away there is like a sign that says, WrestleMania, or like Philly welcomes WrestleMania, and banners everywhere. And we're like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And if you guys haven't seen any of my experience yet, head over to our videos and check out our WrestleMania vlog, because I vlogged everything. It was a good time. And then the Windy City Riot one will be making its debut tomorrow, so be on the lookoght for that. But yeah, the Philly airport, it kind of dragged because we went to go get our luggage, and the little maquinitas were not on, the little machines. So we're like, oh, okay, we're just gonna wait until it pops out. And it never did. Thank you, restaurant. and it just never spun. So we're like, okay, we're waiting there for our luggage for like 30 minutes before we were able to get it. And then two pigeons were inside of the
Oh my
airport.
god, what a mess already.
And then of course all the wrestling fans are huddled up in one space. So everybody's like talking to each other. There was a guy in like a full Cody Rhodes sweater and sweatpants, like the matching sets. People had their
Oh.
wrestling belts with them. It was like it was an event.
Uh-huh.
So we're like, oh, okay, we finally get our stuff after like 30 minutes of waiting, and we go get our rental car. We go check into our hotel, and we're like starving. So there was across the street a Hard Rock Cafe. So we went there. Food was good, drinks were good. And then we started getting ready for Wrestlemania, which was Thursday night. It was the first event to kick off our WrestleMania. And we were excited, right? We were getting ready, and it was 8 o'clock. And that's when the show started at 8.
Okay.
And we're like, okay, how long is it going to take for us to get ready? And I was like, if we leave by like 9:30, we'll be fine. We're getting ready, right? And then Lo is like, hey, it's 9:45. And I was like, okay, maybe we should go. Maybe we should get going. We don't know how, like, it wasn't too far, but we want to at least be there by 10.
Yeah.
So we get there, and parking lot is full, right? Full. And we end up driving like all the way to the back. I think there was like 3 spots left and in that parking lot.
Wow, okay.
And security was like, trying to get everything together. There was 2 entrances, and one entrance, the one that we went to from the parking lot that we were at, they were like, hey, do you guys, like, what kind of tickets do you guys had? And we had VIP tickets.
Mhm.
And they were like, oh, do you have VIP tickets or VIP backstage tickets? And we're like, just VIP tickets. And they're like, oh, okay, that entrance is all the way over there. And we're like, oh my gosh. So then we had to walk. Mind you, it's dark. We had to walk. And then we'll go through the other entrance, which was just the GA entrance, the regular entrance. And we're like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, we just didn't think it would be set up like that.
Yeah.
So we go in, it's also packed on the inside. Crazy. Mind you, we were in the parking lot. There was a guy who was wearing a Cody Rhodes sweater. And I'm like, this is a wrestling event. Like, this is now a wrestling event. It's no longer like a club
Yeah.
event. Like,
Yeah.
there are WWE hardcore fans here. Like,
Yeah.
this is the kind of event we're going. Mind you, Lo and I were wearing our heels.
Yeah,
We
we're
had
looking cute.
we had our heels on, like we had our hair done, makeup done, and it was just a mixed crowd, which that was fine, right? Let's look at our comments really quick before I continue with our story. Shout out to Scott George. Thank you for watching always. Good morning, Rest
Good
Friends.
morning, Rest Friends.
Tiff says, I wonder if they thought about the weather when they picked Philly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I thought that was one of the reasons why they don't do WrestleMania here in Chicago, because of our weather.
Okay.
But then,
Yep, I agree with you.
Right?
Yes, I agree with you, because Soldier Field right by the water, and I get it, April, it's a little chilly. But I thought the reason that they didn't want to have it is because, oh, there's not enough seats.
yeah,
But like, I think Soldier Field has like 60, 70,000
Yeah.
seats. And if it's open, why not?
right.
Like, interessante. Interessante. Continuing with the comments, May says second night wasn't as bad. It wasn't, and I'll tell you why. We had different seats.
So the wind was different. It felt different.
It was really different. He says it was cold AF out there. It really was. It's just because you had to be out there for a little while.
Yeah.
But back to Wrestlemania. So we get there. Mind you, we had to pay $100 for VIP tickets. So
Were you? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Give me your
It's
thoughts,
just-
friend.
You said, okay, now that you're mentioning that you paid $100,
Mhm.
and I know the entrance doesn't mean much, but the fact that you had to go in through through
GA.
GA,
Yeah.
even though you had paid $100 for VIP, and you couldn't just go in through the other
The
VIP.
other one, yeah.
Weird, but okay.
So we go in, and it looks like it's packed, and it also, there's so many people on stage. Immediately you see Carlito's on there, Shelton Benjamin's on there. There's probably 50, 60, 70 other people. Maybe there was like 100 people on stage. It was packed. But we are like, okay, I'm messaging with my friends and be like, all right, where are you guys? Like, what's happening? And then they're like, oh, we're by the bar. But we get there, and we're like, you couldn't really see the bar. You had to go into the crowd and turn to the right to get to the bar.
Okay.
So me and Lo were like, okay, like, let's just try to find our spot in VIP first, and then we'll come back down and say hi to our friends.
Yeah.
So we go upstairs, which that's where VIP was, and completely dark. There's no lights up there. It's completely dark, but we can see that it's packed. We see like bodies and the outlines of people,
Like when
right?
you say dark, it's dark.
It's dark, restaurant. Like I couldn't if you told me somebody was like right across from me, I couldn't see their face.
Stop.
It was dark. And me
Okay.
and Lo like we grabbed onto each other and we couldn't even see the stage,
That's
which is crazy
interesting.
because it was elevated, but it
Right.
was so packed to the point where all the stools were taken. Everybody was standing and you had to like maneuver through people to get
Wow.
there was no open space, which is like, damn, it sucks because downstairs in GA was packed. You would think that there would be a little bit more space in the VIP. And we went to go get something to drink. Lo got a water because she was driving. Shout outs to Lo, designated driver. And I got my drink, and we're like, man, it's hot up here. Like we can't even see the stage. So let's just go back downstairs and see if we can chill there for a little bit. So we are on our way back down, and security stops me, and she's like, hey, sorry, you can't come down with that drink. And I was like, "Oh, okay. That's weird." It
Yeah.
was just like a wine cooler, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Is it an energy drink? If it's not an energy drink, you can't take it down here." Which I'm like, "That's weird." But also, I get it if like downstairs wasn't selling those types of beverages, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I had to go back upstairs and I'm like, oh damn, now I gotta chug this drink.
Yeah.
Like I want to go downstairs. Like, let's chug this drink. So by the time we go back up, there has been a little spot that is opened up in the by the balcony. And we're like, okay, like let's stand here. Security immediately goes up to us and it's like, hey, I'm so sorry, you guys can't stand here. And he's like, it's not my policy, it's my boss's policy. It's we need to be able to pass through or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, no problem. We'll move. And he's like, okay, by the way, can I have your number? And I and I was like, no. And he's like, why do you have a boyfriend? And I was like, first of all, like,
why can a
why
no
can't I
be
just say
enough?
no? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I have a boyfriend. And which I don't, but
Your
like you have to like
At that moment your boyfriend was standing right
at
next
that
to you and that
moment
was low.
at that moment period I should have been like, yep, right here. So he was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, there's no worries. He's like, just sorry, I just you just can't stand here. He's like, but you can stand right here with the trash. Like like the trash was there was the trash bin, right? And he's like, you're not really supposed to be standing here, but he's like, you know what, I'll move it. So he moved it 2 inches. And then Lo and I were just there like
Oh my goodness. Uh-huh.
so yeah, we're just standing there and I'm like trying to drink the drink as fast as I can, right? Because I'm like, damn, like ni lo pude disfrutar. I couldn't really enjoy it because I'm like, I gotta chug this. This guy just asked me for my number. Lo doesn't even know that he asked me for Lo did not know what this man said to me until we got downstairs. And I'm like, you're not even gonna believe what just happened. Why I was trying to chug that drink by the trash really quick. So we finish our drink, we go downstairs. The lady finally lets me through because I didn't have a drink. So then there is like a coat check and they're selling pizza and cookies and it's the same. It's packed when you get up on the stage. There was like 95% men in that event.
Yikes.
And I'm trying to find Cresta, my co-host from Fightful. She said she was there. She's like, I'm by the bar. And I'm like, where is that? Like, you gotta lead me. I don't know where that is. So she's like, oh, it's to the right. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we're like kind of looking and I'm like, oh, okay, great. And I go and I see Phil from Grap City and I'm like, hey, Phil, what's up? He's also Chicagoan. Shout outs to Phil. And he's like, oh, hey, we started chit chatting a little bit. And I'm like, where is Cresta? Have you seen her? And he's like, oh, yeah. So he walks me towards her. We see Cresta. Cresta's eyes lit up. My eyes lit up. She's like, oh my God. Because this is the first time that
I
we
was
had.
gonna ask, this your first time,
Yes,
right?
this is the first time that we had actually met each other in person.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my gosh. She was like doing a little dance as she was going towards us. She's like, Iridian. And then she's like, oh, she got excited when she saw Lo too. And it was just great. I was super excited to meet her. Got to meet her boyfriend. And then we saw Reg also from Grap City who was there. And we just kind of all hung out. We were chatting for a little bit. Then Nessa joined us, who I know from Twitter through Lo. So like it was just like, a bunch of different people who were connecting at the same time. We're like, oh my God, this is crazy that we're all in the same space. And mind you, we were not in the main crowd. we were like by the bathrooms by the bar because
Yeah.
that's where there was the most space.
Okay.
And we were just, having a good time. We're like laughing. Scott is saying Cresta is a riot. She is. She's such a great time, and she's so cool to party with. Or someone you would love to party with her. So
Yeah.
I hope that one day, I hope she comes for like all out
Yeah, that would be so
because
cool to meet her.
she is a hoot and a holler. Love her. And we're like by the bar, we're finally getting our drinks. But of course, it was just me, Lo, Ness. She had 3 of her friends and then Cresta. So it was like 6 of us girls, right?
Mhm.
And we're just chilling. We're trying to dance. We're trying to talk, have a good time. And then, of course, there was always men who were coming up to us. And they were like, "What do you guys have, Coleman or Roman or Cody? Are you guys finish the story?" And we're like, "Oh my God. Bro, we're just trying to like talk and like dance a little bit, and we didn't want to go out into the main crowd because it looked like it was packed and it was dark and it was hot in there.
Yeah.
And it was uncomfortable
Yeah.
because there were so many men there.
Yeah.
um
Asking you,
Asking you, who do we
who do you
have,
have?
Roman or Cody? Oh Jesus.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Not like, I know it wouldn't be funny in the moment or anything.
No, it
but
was
it's
not funny in the
like,
moment, but it was funny the next day.
right?
I
Like,
was cracking up. I said, "Can you believe these numbers really out here in the club trying to be like, all right, so you watch wrestling?"
like that's how you know that's the one you're not gonna go for.
Exactly.
Dude, I wonder if they know that.
I wonder if they know that. If you please don't come up to me. Like, let me
Right.
come up to you.
First of all, don't come up to me.
Yeah. Let me come up to
Second of
you.
all,
And
like I'm at the club. Okay. Can you explain a little bit what
Mhm.
Wrestlemania is for the
Yeah,
people that
yeah.
don't know?
So Wale Mania is an event by Wale, the rapper, and he kind of mixes in, hip hop and just music in general with professional wrestling. So when you go to Wale Mania, it's like a big club event with
Yeah.
wrestlers, right? This year as soon as we walked in, Shelton Benjamin was up there, Carlito was up there, Big Swole was up there, Samantha Irving and Ricochet were there. Like, it was just a who's who of wrestling, and they were just on stage partying, right? And it's a great time. And I think that that's fantastic, right? But I think that it's a little more geared towards the wrestlers and the wrestlers having a good time as opposed
Than everyone
to
who pays to be there.
everyone else who was there.
Yeah.
But like, so I had a good time when I was with my friends and stuff, but like I couldn't dance because there was just no room over there. So we were by the bathrooms. Again, I'm telling you, by the bathrooms, like, because there was open space there, trying to dance. And then guys, of course, coming up to us and be like, oh, getting in between, literally uh, trying to break us up and like have a
talk to
conversation. Yeah,
one of
to talk
you.
to one of us. Yeah. So,
Oh
or
my
they would come
gosh.
in crowds, and man, it's crazy. So Mace apparently was there. Shout outs to you. You not lying. It was hot AF in there. I went to the bathroom for 10 minutes to catch her. Man, it was hot. And then at one point they started playing wrestling theme songs, and somebody was like, "Everybody's hands up in the air." And I said, "Please no. Please
Not in a room full of wrestling fans.
put the hands down. No hands up.
Oh
Put the
my
hands
God.
down. Please." I'm cackling, best friend. Lo and I, we all started like splitting up and like doing our own things, right? So Lo was like, "Well, let's see if we can try to get like closer to the stage to like see what the vibe is over there." So we're
Mhm.
trying to get closer, and as we get closer, of course, it gets more packed,
Yeah.
and men are like looking behind us and like, "Too sweet."
Oh. God damn, like how do we even defend our fandom? Honestly.
So what do Lo and I do? Of course, we can't be like, "No." We're like, "All right." We're
Oh
like,
my goodness.
"Too sweet, I guess."
Imagine taking your friends that are not wrestling fans
And having to
right?
explain what the fuck is going
Exactly.
on.
Every single time they'd be like, "What
Mm-hmm.
the fuck? Leave me alone."
Yeah.
I can't.
And it's just weird because like even just trying to have regular conversations, like I was talking to Reg, and there was just like there was a guy who like had come up behind me and was like scooting closer, and then I was like backing up. It was just weird. It was just some weird stuff. But so we're up there by the stage after getting too sweeted, and I was like, you know what, maybe we need to leave. Like He'd be
The
like,
too sweet was it.
the
You're like,
too
you know
sweet.
what?
You know what? This is it.
Took it too far.
So out of the corner of my eye, I see a man walking like by, and I'm like, I know that guy. And I stop him. I put my hand on put my hand on this man's chest. I was like, oh my God, are you Simon? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, Simon Miller from What Culture? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I watch your videos, but I was like, I don't watch your wrestling videos. He has got another YouTube channel where he reacts to albums, to just like hip hop albums, to rock albums. So I was like, I watch those videos. He doesn't really do them that often now. But I was like, I really enjoyed that content that you made. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, that made my day. Thank you so much. And I'm like, thank you so much, sir. Like, that was so nice. So then he went about his way, and we're still mixing and mingling, and we are like Stephanie Hardy, we saw was there, and just a bunch of other content creators. And this guy comes up to me and he's like, oh my God, it's you. And I was like, who is me? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're from Rust Friends. And I'm like, oh my God, I am. I was like, I am from Rust Friends. It is me. I said, hi, how are you? He's like, oh, he's like, I'm good. And he's like, oh, I kind of think you were going to be here. And I was like, I might not be here for long. might not stay. I don't know. And as the night kept progressing, Cresta was also saying it too, like the ratio of men to women was off. Like if you wanted to do something, of course the men were going to stare. And that's why we stuck in a little section of women that we were like, okay, like we're going to stay right here. And even when we went to the bathroom, like Cresta had gone out. I'm like, let's just go with her. So we went. And then a guy who was going into the bathroom comes out. He saw us, and then he came back out and was like, hey, do you guys have any Vaseline? And we're like, Vaseline at the club? Like, sir. And then we're waiting in line for the bathroom. Like, we're not waiting, but like we're waiting for a friend. But it's like Vaseline. And then he was like still trying to strike up a conversation. And then another one of our friends joined us, and people do, like, the men would just hover over, and it was a weird experience.
Yeah, it sounds like a little bit of a nightmare.
It was like it's just like the men followed.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds like there were so many men that they were just everywhere.
Yes, and that's what it is. And I feel like people, like, don't get me wrong, like, yes, I do get it. It's a club, and you're there to mingle and stuff.
Yeah.
But the vibe was off. The vibe was off, and that's no shade to the event, but the vibe for me was not there, and that's what I'll say.
Yeah.
And I remember I told Lo after the first Wrestlemania that we went to, I was like, you know what? I don't think this is it. I don't think this is it for me. And then
you gave it a second chance.
I gave it a second chance, and she's like, you know what? Let's try VIP. She's like, I think it'll be different. It was not different, but we live and you learn.
Yeah. I mean, you tried. You were there. You saw some friends. You met some friends.
I also saw Frank the Clown. Shout outs to Frank the Clown, because that's my homeboy. I don't care what he says.
You're my friend.
You're my friend. So after that, it was Friday, right? And Friday we had Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And that show was also good. Mario, that's when Mario showed up to join us. And we were super excited. We're like, oh my goodness, Mario's going to join us today. Shout outs to Mario from the Lucha Outsiders podcast. If you guys don't listen, go over, because literally all of our wrestling like news and stuff when we were starting out, we got from Lucha Outsiders.
Still do.
Now we're great friends
with
them over there. So Lucha Outsiders, check them out. And Lo and I were out and about, right? We're like, okay, we're going to meet Mario for brunch. And we were going to go to this restaurant called Elvis, which I did not know was Elvis until I looked at the menu, and it's like, oh, it's inspired by Elvis. And I'm like, the Spanish Elvis.
You saw it was a Mexican restaurant, and you're like, Elvis.
I said, period.
Let's go to Elvis.
Let's go to Elvis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for
Elvis.
sure.
I was saying Elvis.
Elvis.
Yes. And then I'm like, the Elvis. So it was funny because when we were walking to that restaurant, we saw a car with jersey plates, and we're like, oh my God, is Mario here already? Like, and it was kind of like the car that Mario has, and we're like, this is it, like Mario's here already. Insane. And he was not there. we kept walking, and then we hear somebody honking on us, and we're like, oh my god, that's Mario. And Mario had like saw us while we were just talking about him. Like, that's crazy. What are the chances that we'd be talking to him right now and
Yeah.
that he would show up?
Yeah.
So we hugged, and we went to go eat, and then we just had a really great brunch. The food was good. Then we went to go get ice cream, and the ice cream was also good. While we were getting ice cream, we were talking about the people who recently got let go from AEW.
Yeah.
And we're like, just kind of having conversations about wrestling and about who like on the roster, like how people are making their money and stuff, because we're really upset that Dasha got let go.
Yeah.
Because I thought Dasha was doing a really amazing job. She's one of
Yeah.
the few women of color in the
Yes, I was
business.
gonna say that.
Yeah.
It was very nice to see a woman of color
Mhm.
on TV sometimes,
Mhm.
or just interviewing. And yeah, I understand you. I definitely see what you're saying, because I felt some sort of like devastation, right?
Yeah.
Seeing her being let go. And yeah, we'll talk. There's something else I was gonna say, but I'll
No,
talk
no,
about
go
it later.
ahead. Go
No, no,
ahead.
no, I'll talk about it later, because it's kind of like an AEW topic.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. We were really upset that Dasha got let go. Mario's like, what about all these other people on the roster? Like, so
Yeah.
we were going through the roster, and we were like, who can stay and who can go, or who we would think would do better elsewhere, right?
Mhm.
So we're going down the list, and there was just some funny stories that Mario was talking. You know how Mario is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was just good stuff. But yeah, so we went to the Ring of Honor show, and I want to say I have pictures. Maybe do I not have pictures? That's the security footage.
There you go.
Okay. That's sneak peek into what we're gonna be talking about, guys. Okay, so stick around. Yeah, that's us when we were at Elvis, and the guac was good. I'm looking at it right now.
You were telling me about that
Damn,
guac.
that guac was
I
good.
love me a good guac. It was in the ay, what do you call that?
Mm.
Molcajete, right?
Yeah,
That when they make guac in a
it's
molcajete,
it's
I
different.
usually the experience is 10 out of 11 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because that guac just tastes different.
I don't know what it was, but it was creamy. The drinks were good.
Nice.
And I'm saying we were just chismeando about everything. So it was 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Also, Lo and I had just recorded, we went to a podcasting studio. We recorded an episode of Wrestling Wind Down. And while we were recording, the fire alarm went off.
Okay.
It was like we were 10 minutes into our little session, right? And then the fire alarm went off, and we're like, oh, like, do we leave? And the guy was like, let me just go check on it. He left for 10 minutes and didn't come back. So we're like,
Was the alarm going on those whole 10
yes.
minutes? Oh.
So we're like, are we okay? Do we leave? What's going on? So we stayed.
Everything was okay.
This is why I feel like I know that I would just not make it if the world starts to end, because
I feel you.
why bother?
I feel you. What were you gonna do?
What was I gonna do? Exactly. And times like that was, what are you gonna do?
Well, it's like if a man left to go check and he
And
didn't
he didn't
come
come
back. I
back.
mean, he's probably fine, right?
Exactly.
We're probably gonna be
Exactly.
fine. I would have thought the same, restaurant.
Yes. So we got to finally see Mark Briscoe pick up his win. He beat Eddie Kingston. This match was fantastic. But what I will tell you is that they gave it away for me, because in my mind, I'm like, oh, they might give it to Mark Briscoe, right?
Yeah.
During maybe like the last 5 minutes of that match, staff from AEW started going to our section to give out streamers. And I'm like, oh, this is it. Like, this is it. Mark's picking up the win. So, and then everybody went crazy for the streamers. Like, we want streamers. Like, they were reaching for the lady who was handing them out with the bag. And I said, guys, it's not that serious. It's streamers.
Yeah.
Please. I get it. You want to be a part of it, but it's not that serious. And the people were going feral for the streamers.
Did you get a streamer?
I did not.
Okay.
But I also was not going to be like, give me a streamer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because they were giving it out to, like, I guess people who were by the ramp, and then the first couple rows. We were in like the first row right behind the floor.
Okay.
So like right in that like little elevated spot. We were there, it was fine. So that kind of like took away some of the surprise for me, because I'm like, well, I already know. So I was just kind of waiting for the pin to happen. But I thought we had a really, really good time. And of course, because it was me, Mario, and Lo, I had made us like little matching bracelets that said Bullet Club Gold, because we were hoping that BCG was going to show up. And they did. So I know Mario was losing it. Okay. When Jay White came out, he was ready. He was, the bracelet was going on, cheering, guns up. He was ready for Jay White. And I was kind of hoping for Wheeler Yuta
Yeah.
because he's from Philly.
Yeah.
The event was at Philly and he's a Ring of Honor pure champion. So I was at least hoping for a video package, something to remind me that he's still there. I mean, I'm not going to forget. I'm not going to forget about
Remind me
Yuta.
what he looks like again, please.
Just one time. I just want to see him say, hey, he doesn't have to do nothing. Like, send a picture with love, Wheeler Yuta, like put it on the pay-per-view. I don't know.
You're so cute.
Like, I would have done something because
Yeah.
even if he is injured, I totally get it. But that's his hometown and
Yeah.
he's a champion there. I would have done something.
Like, he deserved that recognition.
Yeah.
Even for, like you said, even just a hello.
Yeah.
To say,
He could have cut a promo or something.
Yeah.
I feel like y'all did him dirty, okay? Y'all could have reached out to Yuta. I don't know what he was doing, but y'all could have reached out to him.
If you're listening.
Yes. So then afterwards, we went to For the Culture, which is part of the GCW, part of the collective.
Yeah.
And that was also great. Lo and I were kind of like mixing and mingling. You know, we had our seats there too because we're like, we cannot be standing. We cannot be standing. It's a long weekend. We're going to be sat. And sats we were. It was great. And then afterwards on on Friday.
Yeah.
What happened Friday?
What?
No, Friday was Ring of Honor.
Friday was Ring of Honor,
Friday
so
was
we're
Ring
on
of Honor.
Saturday.
We're on Saturday. Thank you, restaurant.
It's okay, restaurant. You go ahead.
I fucking lost.
I know. First of all, I'm sure there's a lot of things you're not even bringing up that you
Oh,
did.
yeah.
It must have been a packed weekend for you.
Yeah. So now we get to Saturday. And Saturday was interesting because we're like, okay, this is where we're going to split up our like WrestleCons and our like WWE World shows. And of course, you have both nights at WrestleMania. So in the morning, we're like, all right, let's do WrestleCon.
Mm-hmm.
So we were super excited. Oh, that's WrestleMania. Lord Jesus. See, I got my pictures mixed up. WrestleCon. This is where we're at. Sorry, guys. You're getting a little bit of spoilers. It's early in the morning for me, okay? I did these slides this morning.
She did. Please forgive her. She's
so
working hard.
We were at WrestleCon and we were kind of figuring out like who we wanted to meet, right? Also, this Mario joined us and he was with his girlfriend. We got to meet his girlfriend for the first time. We're like, oh my God, she was so great, 10 out of 10. And she was super, super nice. We were going to do like, I guess WrestleCon was split up in like 2 floors. So Lo and I had got there before they did. And we kind of just did like a pass around and we're like, let's see who's here. Let's see what they have. And first person who we saw as we went up the escalators was Colt Cabana.
Always got to run into Colt Cabana, huh?
Always run into Colt Cabana. He's so great. And we're like, oh my God, it's Colt. And then Mickey James, who had an extremely long line. She is amazing. She had a long line. Who else was there? Victoria, Lisa Marie. I don't remember what her last name is, but she was there. And Ace Austin was also there. There was just, and this was before you actually went into WrestleCon. They had like their tables outside.
Oh, okay.
So we went to Colt's table, of course, immediately. And you know, Colt, I love Colt because he doesn't like hover. He like lets you look at the stuff. And then if you talk to him, he'll talk to you. So then I was like, okay, I'm ready to talk to Colt. So I was like, hey, Colt. And he's like, oh, hey, how are you? And then he's like, hey, you're wearing my shirt. And I was wearing a Colt Cabana shirt. Totally forgot, Russ friend. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I am. Then he's like, you're from Chicago, right? And I said, we need to leave. Like, all right, pack it up. Pack it up. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I am from Chicago. And he's like, oh, that's so cool. And then he looks at Lo and he's like, are you from Chicago too? And she's like, no, I'm from Vegas. But Lo can also be
she is adopted. She's Chicago definitely adopted Lo.
Absolutely, just like Mario. Mario will tell you.
Just like Mario. I mean, first of all, if you love Chicago, Chicago will love you right back. And Lo and Mario love Chicago.
Yeah.
So
honorary Chicagoans right
there. Not
only
Chicago, but I love them too.
Yes. So Colt was great. You know, we're like, okay, Colt, you know, we'll be back. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, no worries. And I was like, okay, we might take a picture with Colt. We might not take a picture with Colt. We bought some, Lo had bought some stuff from him. I think he had stickers there from Pro Wrestling Tees. So he be getting his money, okay? They be putting him to work. He be selling the merch that PWT can't. So Colt is a businessman. So we go inside and then it's kind of like C2E2 in like Artist Alley, right? You have a bunch of artists and you have the wrestlers there. I think the first person we saw was like QT Marshall, the Acclaimed. Immediately when you walked in, Billy Gunn. And we're like, oh my God, like you get, I guess, like jitters all over again because you're like, oh my God, it's all these wrestlers. It's so cool. So we did the lap. We're still going and we see Ricky Starks and we're like, oh my God, it's Ricky. And they had some really, really great merch. I don't remember what the store's name was, but they had a lot of like CMLL, a lot of Lucha Libre stuff.
Oh, nice.
And they had like bedazzled shirts of like Penta and Lucha Brothers. And I'm like, it literally was amazing. And I said, I'm really kind of, I missed out on picking up something from them, but really, really cool stuff. So then afterwards, Mario texts me and he's like, hey, we're here. So we're like, all right, cool, great. Let's go and meet, you know, his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So we go. She's super great to us. And then we do another lap. And this is where we're like, all right, let's meet Ricky Starks. So Lo and I go up to Ricky. Ricky's like, oh, hey, how are you guys? And then he has like a 7-minute long conversation with us. He was really great. Ricky's always so great to us.
Yeah, he is so great.
And we took our picture, and then he's like, he's chismeando with us, restaurant. He loves a chisme. 10 out of 10.
Okay, that's good to know.
He loves a chisme. 10 out of 10.
He could be a rest friend.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
He would love to be a rest friend.
Oh, he would love to be a rest friend.
And then we just kept going. And then I see Nigel McGuinness, who I was really sad that we couldn't go to Nigel's magic show because that was the same time as Wrestlemania.
Okay.
It was like, I think it was like from 8 to 10 or something. And I feel like we could have made it because it was still like we showed up to Wrestlemania at 10 either way. So we could have gone afterwards. But the magic show, I go up to him and I'm like, oh my God, Nigel. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I couldn't make it to your magic show. But I was like, I'm super excited to meet you. I'm a huge fan of your commentary, especially because I react to Collision. So he is the commentator for there. So he was like, oh, he's like, well, thanks for coming to the table. He's like, I could perform a little bit of magic afterwards if you want. And I was like, oh my God. Fun fact about me, guys. I fucking love magic. I live for it. The theatrics, live for it. So we took our picture. He was so nice. And then he's like, all right. And then he gets his phone out and he's like, I'm going to record this. Okay. And I was like, all right, cool.
Oh.
And I was so nervous because I'm like, oh my God, it's Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah.
And I'm like such a huge fan. And then he starts doing magic, which I was already more excited that he's doing more magic. And he takes out a deck of cards. He starts doing the trick. Mind you, I'm not the smartest in the morning, guys. Okay.
You're like, it was too early.
It was too early for him to be asking me all these questions and for me to keep following along. And I just kept looking at his eyes and I'm like, and then he'd be like, oh, okay, if I use these 2 cards, but if I put them back in the stack, like, and if I mix them up, what card is going to be on top? And I'm like, I did not know I was going to get quizzed. I did not know I was going to get quizzed this morning. So I was like, this one? And he's like, if I didn't switch it. And I'm like, oh, okay, the other one. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. So then I picked 2 cards. I had put them on top of the deck. And then next thing you know, he did the whoosh, and then they were not the same cards anymore, best friend. There were 2 different cards. And I was like, amazing. Amazing, Nigel.
I really love your excitement.
I was like, that's amazing. I hope,
he wowed you.
I really hope he puts that video up. Or maybe he was like, maybe this one wasn't too good. But I really hope he puts that video up because you're going to see my excitement. I was like, oh my God. How did you do it? Don't tell me. I literally said, how did you do it? Don't tell me. Wait, it was amazing.
Now I have a question. Were you a Chris Angel fan?
No, not really.
Okay. Honestly, it would have been really funny if you would have said
why?
Yes. Well, just because he was a man,
magic
shows.
Yeah.
So you said you love it. So I'm like, I wonder if she was a Chris Angel fan. I feel like back in the day, who wasn't?
Yes.
But okay,
I feel like Chris Angel was a little bit too out there.
I mean, like, I feel like it was fake. So he definitely was doing a lot of shit. I
feel like his stuff was just like huge. There was a show, I don't know if you remember this, but I used to watch a lot of I still watch a lot of TV. I'm a TV fanatic, guys. I watch these shows. So there was a show that had come out called Magician's Biggest Secrets Finally Revealed or something.
Okay. And
there was this guy and he had a mask on. And it was kind of scary because I was young to be watching this. I was like 9. So he would go and the whole show was him revealing secrets
of like how
magic is done. And I remember watching that and I'm like, there's no way this guy is doing this right now. Like he's going to go to jail. I remember him thinking this. I'm like, all the magicians are going to get him.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. And still to this day, I like would rather not know how the trick is done,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I feel like that just takes away the excitement for me. That's not fun for people to be like, oh well, it's you have to be dumb to like magic. And I'm like, that's part of the illusion. Like
Yeah.
it takes a lot to learn magic. Not that I'm ever gonna learn magic,
Right.
but
You admire it though. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So there was also a guy who was on America's Got Talent called Piff the Magic Dragon. And this guy was a magician, and he wasn't, I guess his like career was like dying down. So he put on a dragon costume, like a Party City, like just dragon costume. And then he changed his name to Piff the Magic Dragon. And he performs magic like that.
Okay.
And he's in Vegas right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell Bestie,
We gotta go see Spiff the
we
Magic
gotta go
Dragon.
see Piff the Magic Dragon, because I love magic. So Nigel did his little trick. I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. He was so great. 10 out of 10, Nigel. And he also called Brian Danielson a clam digger while I was there.
A clam digger.
Hmm.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, but that's what he usually calls him on Collision.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Nigel, because I literally had just mentioned, I'm like, I just love watching Collision because I watch Collision
Is
for
Urban
Fightful.
Dictionary gonna tell me what that means? Because now I'm curious.
Clam digger.
Does anyone know what clam digger means?
Put it in the comments, guys. What does clam digger mean? So yeah, these are the three people that we met. I took a picture with Nigel, and then the both of us took a picture. We went back for a picture with Colt Cabana, who was so lovely per usual. 10 out of 10 Colt. And then
He is a
of
10 out of
course
10.
our convo with Ricky, and we went downstairs to kind of see who else was there. And that's where Ronda Rousey was doing her signing, but Ronda wasn't there anymore. We saw Mustafa Ali leaving, and he's so beautiful. That man,
Yes.
he's such a beautiful man. When you see him in person, you're just like, oh my God.
Yes.
And I guess the Hardys were also down there. But like, I guess it was clearing up because it was closer to like lunchtime, and I guess a lot of people were only staying till 2. Mind you, it was also a day of WrestleMania, so people probably like trying to get out of there if they were going to the show and like do other things. So that's when we bought our tickets, and yeah, we went to Philly not having bought WrestleMania tickets. We were gonna buy them the day of. We were waiting for the prices to drop, and I feel like we should have waited a little bit more that day, but we were just kind of like in a, all right, what are we doing? We were with Mario finally. We're like, all right, we got to get these 4 tickets. It has to be now. And we ended up getting the tickets. And we're like, okay, this is pretty all right, right? So we go back to the hotel, start getting ready, head to the stadium, which was Lincoln Financial Field, and it's open stadium, mind you. I had taken my jacket because I'm like, I don't know how cold it's gonna be. Lo and I were like monitoring the temperature all week. We're like, it's gonna be in the 50s, but I'm like, dang, if it's gonna be in the 50s here in Chicago when I get out of work, it's chilly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if it's gonna be like that, I gotta take my jacket. So I took my jacket. I took like a long sleeve shirt, and I had like leather pants, but they had like fleece on the inside. So I thought it was going to be a little bit warm. And we were like, I want to say in sections in like the 200s and like the mezzanine. And just the view alone, it was insane because that place was packed,
Okay.
literally packed. Just really, really cool. I guess the only part that we were like, not great about was the weather.
Yeah.
But of course, duh, you're outside.
Yeah.
But like the pay-per-view itself was amazing. The first night,
Yeah.
it was just great. What are you with your thoughts on WrestleMania
I
night 1?
agree. WrestleMania night 1 was also, for me, it was entertaining.
Mhm.
I feel like there were some spots that were okay, but overall it was definitely more than I expected because I didn't have any high expectations just
Yeah.
because I didn't want to be let down.
Mhm.
And actually, yeah, I mean, it was actually better than my expectations.
So Rhea Ripley and her entrance with Motionless in White. People were kind of upset that there was like spotty audio or whatever, but guys, it was windy. Again, it's an open stadium. Like the sound's not going to be perfect.
I don't know what people would expect.
Like,
It's not
what
a
do you
concert.
want? Exactly.
It's WrestleMania. Like we're lucky that we even got that. That was so very cool to see, by the way, because as someone who's been a fan of Motionless in White for years, and I got to see them at Warp Tour when they were like not starting up, but they still weren't as big as they are now. So getting to see them at Warp Tour, being there in the crowd, and then seeing them on WrestleMania with Rhea Ripley, that was really, 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 really cool.
This was cool for me because I didn't know, like I know of Motionless in White, but if you told me pick them out of a crowd, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I also have not heard. Maybe I have heard their music. I don't know. I don't think I've heard their music.
Probably not, because it's not like they're on the radio or
Yeah.
anything like that. Because I mean, I wouldn't even know. People get so weird about when you call certain music metal when they think it's not metal, but
Mhm.
to me it is metal.
Yeah.
So it's not like you really hear this type of
It's like
music
it'll
on
pop up.
TV. Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
So I also didn't know that they helped with the theme.
Yeah.
So the fact that they were performing, I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Wait, you didn't know they sang Rio? They sang Rio's theme song?
Yeah, no, I did not know this. Yes,
Oh,
this was all
okay.
news to me.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
So when they came out, I was like, oh my God. And I did not find out, honest, because I didn't know it was Motionless in White
Yeah.
performing that day. And then the next day, like, oh my God, yeah, Motionless in White performed. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like,
That's Motionless in White.
yes, I was like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, now. But it was really, really cool to see them come out. I've seen that entrance so many times. I have not watched WrestleMania back, which I need to. But I had just got back and I'm like, this is too much wrestling. Like I'm on a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
But man, it was just really, really cool to see. And I think we had given the prediction that she was going to retain.
Yeah.
So we were right about that. Smarticle Particles. We really did that.
Yeah, I mean, we really didn't see why they would give it back to Becky.
Yeah.
Even though I get it, Becky is WrestleMania to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am really glad that Rhea won. I thought they had a fantastic match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that main event between The Rock and Roman, and then Cody and Seth Rollins.
Long, but very cool.
The entrances were like 24 hours long.
Yes.
We were there till the next day. And same thing, like totally get it. Mace says the only other complaint was the food of price. I paid $16 for 2 sodas. Yeah, okay, so I'll tell you what happened. I got a pretzel, which was like a long like pretzel, and they gave me cheese and then a souvenir cup because I had been trying to find souvenir cups and I couldn't find one. So I got a Cody. The souvenir cup is cool because Cody's right in the middle. And I think it was like $30 for the cup and for the pretzel. So I was like, I guess the souvenir cup will like add a couple dollars, but I was like, $30 is insane.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Stadium food is always going to be super, super expensive. But man, that main event, insane. Just really great stuff. What are your thoughts on it?
That main event was, I mean,
did you
like
boo the Rock?
Oh, of course. Of course. I don't stand up for the Rock. I don't stand up for Roman. I don't.
That's wild. You know who didn't stand up for Roman that night? Mario,
because he was for Cody.
Yeah.
Wow.
Both nights.
You know what? I respect that because I love Cody, of course.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I thought it was long. I was watching it and I'm like, wow, this is very long. But at the same time, I thought it was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, could I have done without The Rock? Yeah, of course. But at the same time, I feel like it was an okay match that they put together to showcase The Rock and Roman together, and then Rollins as Cody, which that was my favorite part. Seeing my 2 favorite WWE wrestlers tag team together. That was really, really cool. And the fact that they got that moment, because I could understand why someone like The Rock has so many fans and why he's so huge in WWE. So for Cody and Seth to have that opportunity to have so many eyes on them because they were in a match against The Rock and Roman Reigns, I thought that was cool.
There's just some really fun moments in this whole pay-per-view, I guess, of night 1. But let me tell you about the cold.
Yes.
So in our section, we get up there and it's kind of like on a curve, right? So I have my jacket on, Lo's got her jacket on, but as the night goes on, it gets colder and the crowd gets quieter because it's cold.
It's cold. Like
so,
you're all feeling that.
Yeah.
Cold.
So of course you can like cheer, you can yell, but like we had our hands like in our jackets, like in our pockets, because congratulations, you played yourself, right? We're just trying to like stay warm and huddle up and like say what you want, but you're there for an hour and you're like, all right, cool. You're there for the second hour and you're just like, all right, the breeze still coming, and you're trying to keep the same energy, but like your body is constantly trying to warm you up, like your energy is being used up. And it doesn't matter how much you clap, how much you scream, it sounds a little muted. And people were saying like, oh, the crowd there is dead. We were trying to keep warm.
Yeah.
We were trying to keep warm, and that's what that is.
That's a very valid point, by the way.
Yeah. Man, just crazy stuff. But let's move on to Sunday. If you guys want us to specifically talk about a match, let us know down in the comments. We will definitely talk about it and keep interacting with us. Thank you guys, all 103, 102 of you in total that are watching us. Shout outs to you guys. I'm amazed.
I'm a hundred.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yeah, all of 102 people watching us on combined platforms. So shout outs to you guys.
Shout
Thank you
outs
so
to every
much.
single one of you.
We appreciate it. Let's move on to day 2. So day 2, we hit up WWE World, and I was very, very excited about
Which
this.
is their shop.
Yes, I
Okay.
was really excited about this because it is created by the person who made C2E2, which we
Mhm.
absolutely love. And C2E2
Mhm.
is the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo here in Chicago. Teddy and I have gone for the past 3-4 years. We absolutely love it.
Yeah, we'll be there in 2 weeks
Oh,
again.
we will. I'm so excited. Yeah, it's so great. So the guy who created C2E2, his name is Lance, and he recently joined Fanatics, who is running, a lot of things for WWE now in terms of events. And he created this idea of WWE World. And that's why I was like super, super excited.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, amazing. All right, before night 2, I know Tiff said, how amazing was Jade, Naomi, and Bianca's entrance live? Oh my God. When I tell you, we saw like the silhouette and we're like, oh, there's just no way. These women looked incredible. And let me tell you, everybody was living for it.
I
The
bet.
crowd there was like, we were ready. We're like, go, go. Like amazing. 10 out of 10.
I mean, on TV, that was very cool. The way that they thought about just combining their themes, for them to each have their little moment, getting off
Yep.
that flat platform, looking amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I thought they looked the best out of everybody that whole weekend.
Yeah. And I know I had mentioned last episode that people were calling them the Power Buff Girls.
Oh,
So this was just amazing.
yeah.
Tiff is saying, I met 2 awesome podcasters at C2E2.
Oh my gosh, who?
Tears. For those of you who have not heard the story, I remember Tiff one time at C2E2. This was the first time she came up to us. And we're like, oh my God, Tiff. Like, she had been such a dedicated fan and a loyal listener. And we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And we just saw her at Windy City Riot. She's great.
Yeah.
We got to chat with her a little bit. Shout out to you, Tiff. Thank you so much for still keeping up with us.
No,
And
literally, that because this was in the beginning of our C2E2 years.
Yeah.
And so we've been knowing Tiffany for a very long time.
Since almost the beginning of Rest Friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we've come a long way. I could cry.
Us at the end of this.
Us at the end of this, tears. Yeah. So yeah, night 2 was just crazy. We went to, again, WWE World, and they just had some really, really cool stuff. I was trying to find like the souvenir cups, and they didn't have any. And there was also things that people were getting that I was like looking on TikTok, like WWE skulls and like helmets.
WWE skulls.
Yeah, so it's just like sugar skulls, but like decorated ones and themed of like Wrestlemania. And I was looking at all these people on TikTok getting these things, and I'm like, I don't see any of those things. Like, we got Funkos, we got like little mini Funkos, and I got a really cool t-shirt that's like my Double or Nothing t-shirt with all the people's faces on it,
Yeah.
but this one has all the WrestleMania logos on it. And I'm like, oh, it's really cool because it's just black and blue. So I'm like, okay, it's not so many colors. It was just really cool. And that's like the one thing that I'm like, I'm gonna get this. So I got the shirt and the little mini Funko Pops. That store was packed.
Mm.
It was so packed. And it's the last stop that we hit because we went to like the experience, the WWE World first, and it had like LED boards and like the posters of WrestleMania are like showing up on there, and there's fog, and then it just had some really, really cool spots because like you could take pictures with like the cages before you go into like a War Games match. Like those cages were there.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero's lowrider was there, the like cherry one. I know Andrade was there signing some autographs. You could do your superstar entrance. And of course, people were doing Cody's theme over and over. We saw Rhea Ripley. She was doing a live like auction signing with Tyler Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
he was there, and Dominic Mysterio was also on a panel there at the same time. There was just like a lot of opportunities for photo ops and like meet and greets and stuff.
Okay.
So that was really cool. But we weren't really in there like a long time. We like took our videos, took our pictures. People were getting tattoos, WWE tattoos, legit tattoos.
Legit tattoos?
Yes, just like in
needle.
C2E2. Yep.
So it was literally like a little mini C2E2, but for WWE. Oh,
Yes.
that's so cool.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And um they had some really cool ideas too for tattoos. They had like a little WWE mic, and I'm like, oh my god, like that'd be so cool to get just
Russ
a little
friend.
wrist friend. I almost got it, wrist friend. I was like, oh my god, and it was crazy because when they first announced that they were gonna have like this tattoo thing, I had thought it was going to be like when I went to Dallas for WrestleMania that they had like spray paint tattoo,
Yeah.
like was just like kind of a stencil, and then they would just spray it on you. And I'm like, oh, I've got a Cody Rhodes tattoo on my neck right now, but
I can't
this was a
imagine you
real
going
one.
like, I want the Cody Rhodes tattoo on your neck, thinking that it was gonna be like
A spray, and
a
then I hear that, and
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa! I watched too much Ink Master to know what's about to happen. Oh man,
Ooh, that would have been something else.
yeah, no, could you imagine, my friend? As soon as I saw little colors coming out, I'm like, no,
You're like, no.
this is not for me. This is not what I thought I was getting. But there was some artists, they did have like little cutouts of just like roses or flowers that you could just like with the little agüita, that water
Yeah.
that you can put it. And I did pick up 2 of those, but I don't remember where I put them. But
Oh.
I was gonna like wear them, but but I didn't get my chance. May says WWE World was dope. Doing your entrance was cool. I did one. That's so awesome. When I went, we didn't do one this time because the line was extremely long.
Yeah.
But Lo and I had done a DX one, and it's just really cool because like the jumbotron plays like the DX stuff, and like the song plays, and everybody's watching you, and that's like what's a little nerve wracking
Oh,
is that
okay.
people are watching because duh, what else are you gonna do? I want to see people's entrances.
Yeah.
People were doing Cody's, people were going really, really hardcore for Shawn Michaels. I know the Judgment Day had some, so it was just really cool. But when we were with Rhea Ripley, like looking at her do her signings, she was like, God, can they play another song? Like, it's just Cody. Like, play some good music, you know? She was great. Shout outs to her, man. But then it was night 2 of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So we get ready, and we bought our tickets in the parking lot this time. So
Oh, okay.
we went, it was like 5:30. We're in the parking lot, and we're like, okay, let's buy the tickets.
Yeah.
And we bought them in a different section, which were better seats,
Okay.
and they were cheaper than the night before. So we're like, all right, cool, let's do it. So we go in and we're super excited. It was like, oh my God, we got new seats. It's night 2. This is going to be really awesome. Cody's finishing the story. Like, that's what I went to the night thinking, right? So we go in, we're like trying to find something to drink, and we're trying to find our seats. And some guy stops me, and he's like, Miss, excuse me. And I'm like, oh my God, like who's calling me right now? And I look, and it's Zach Call. And Zach is the lead singer of Downstate,
That's
who,
crazy.
if you don't know, sing Cody's theme song.
Yeah.
And they've done theme songs for Dolph Ziggler, Britt Baker's theme, literally incredible, right? So here's the picture. Me and Zach. And also, if you go through our videos and our interviews, you can find the interview that I did with him. I want to say maybe a year ago, but he is, he's kept up with me. I've kept up with him, and just amazing, right? He's fantastic. And I'm like, oh my God, hi, how are you? Because it took me a second, because I'm like, I was like, why do I know him?
Yeah.
Like in my head, it was like, well, it's not clicking. I'm like, oh my God,
well,
hi,
I'm sure he
how
looks
are
different
you?
in person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, hi, how are you? So I was super excited to see him. We hugged, and then I'm like, oh my God. I was like, let me introduce you to my friends. I'm like, Mario, Lo. I was like, this is Zach. I was like, he's the lead singer. And then like Mario immediately knew. He's like, oh my God, yeah. He's like, hey man, they had like a conversation. Mario was telling him about like how he loves Dolph Ziggler's theme. And then he was super nice to Lo, and then we got a picture. Mind you, it was so sunny, and there was just so much shade. So like in this picture, like there is a glare.
Yeah.
But he was so nice, and I'm like, oh my God, it was so nice to see you. And he's always sharing my videos anytime I'm singing Cody's theme, anytime I'm whoa, like he loves it. 10 out of 10. He's a great guy. So I was super excited to be able to see him. And then because I saw him, my mind immediately was like, oh my God, are they performing Cody's theme?
Yeah.
Like that's what my mind went to. but I was like, oh my God, I was like, let me ask, but let me not ask. So I was like, trying to get the chisme. But he was also like not trying to give me the chisme, but trying to give me the chisme. But I was like, I don't know if you're being serious or not.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But he was great. And then we went to go find our seats. The show, I think this night had a little bit different energy
Okay.
because we're like, all right, this is happening. We're ready for the pay-per-view. We're ready for Cody to finish the story. But I want to say that night 2 was also the night that Bailey won her championship, right? First friend, I know you're a huge fan of Bailey. Talk to me about how you felt during this
I got a
match.
little emotional again, and it was so funny because as I'm watching it,
Yeah.
I was like, "Am I really getting emotional again?" It was so sweet. It was
Yeah.
so it was so sweet to see Bailey get that championship at WrestleMania.
And I know she tried to get Paramore to come out with her, and it wasn't
Oh,
an
did
option.
she?
Yeah, she said that I
Oh.
want to say that they were touring, so they couldn't join her.
Mhm.
But
I know she's a huge Paramore fan.
yeah, Bailey, amazing. It was about time
It
that she
was.
got her moment
Yeah.
because she is very. I want to say people don't put enough respect on Bailey and
I
like what she does.
I agree with you. I feel like especially during her ponytail days and all of that,
Which
I
I love her ponytail
me
days.
too. I mean, I've always loved Bailey. That's what got me into Bailey.
Mhm.
I obviously thought that her character was extremely friendly and it wasn't for me.
Mhm.
But watching Bailey in the ring is it's so different from her character, whether she's a babyface or a heel.
Mhm.
Watching her in the ring is just so different. She brings out emotions as a wrestling fan
Mhm.
that are like they're not just anyone can do for me, to be honest with you. So I can't really what's it called, like I don't have the words to explain
Mhm.
that feeling of watching your favorites in the ring, and when you're actually enjoying what they're doing
Yeah.
and them actually winning, like Bailey winning the championship at WrestleMania.
Mhm.
So proud, so happy. It was such a sweet little moment for me as a fan.
It was amazing. And when Io Shirai had her entrance, I knew it was done.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is too simple, Io.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that you could have this entrance and then keep that title.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's kind of cool about WrestleMania is that you get to see these amazing entrances and people really go all out.
Yeah.
Man, just what I think this is probably one of the best WrestleManias that we've seen in a while.
Yes, I was gonna say that. I feel it did feel different from other
Mhm.
WrestleManias that haven't felt very like I don't know, like exciting, I guess. Like
Yeah.
you get very excited for on the road to WrestleMania, right? And then WrestleMania's happy and it's like, but
Mhm.
this time I can agree that I liked it.
Yeah. So C. Henry saying, in my opinion, Bailey was a part of the greatest women's match in WWE history with Sasha.
Yeah.
First, I know you have feelings about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I agree.
10 out of 10. Man, let's talk about this main event. And guys, if you want us to talk about a specific match, definitely leave it down in the comments.
Yeah.
But
We're just trying to narrow it down to like
yes, because we
have other things to talk
we
about.
still have to talk about Windy City Riot, guys. We got to talk about the AW footage, the CC footage. So stick around. If you stuck around this far, thank you guys so much. I know we're in an hour deep, but we love you. Thank you so much. Let's talk about this main event because genuinely, best friend, when I tell you I was freaking out, I was freaking out.
Yeah.
So I have my Cody cup again.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. I feel like this time we came a little bit more prepared for the weather. I had this sweater on and then I had my jacket over. Lo had her blanket. Mario had a couple of extra layers and our seats were different. We were kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but we were in a spot where we also had another layer of people on top of us.
Yeah.
But it was like an opening. So it's like in a baseball field where you kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm so sorry, guys.
Okay,
I am so sorry.
It's okay.
But let me see
But
if
you were warmer.
Yeah, absolutely. We were definitely warmer this time. And so that's from the first night. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but we were kind of like in the little layers of like right here.
Okay.
So we would have another crowd above us. So we had some covering kind of.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And man, I was ready for this main event. I was super excited. And we knew that there was going to be shenanigans, right?
Right.
There was a rumor that Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to be there, that John Cena was going to be there. And we're like, oh my God, yes, we were waiting for like Stone Cold, right? But when the shenanigans started, of course, Jimmy got involved and then Jay got involved, and then Solo got involved, and everybody's like, all right, who recently fought Solo? It's got to be John Cena. And wait, okay, so let me talk about these entrances first, guys. Oh my God. Cody Rhodes, best friend. I was gagged. I was gagged. And mind you, I'm a subscriber to Fightful's Patreon,
Yeah.
and they kind of sound like spoilers. They let you know that it's a spoiler,
Yeah.
but they'll be like, hey, like this is what we've heard about WrestleMania. And in this article that I was reading, mind you can choose not to read it because they tell you that it's a spoiler, open at your risk. So I was like, I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
So I read it, and they said that Cody was doing practices of his entrance with a helmet on.
Oh.
So I was like, with the
course.
helmets, what's happening? In my head, I was like, and like what could he possibly do? Right?
Were you just picturing him with like a football hat?
With an
helmet
astronaut
and, like-
helmet. That's what I was picturing. Literally. Shout outs to Troy. He says, you guys, sorry I'm so late. Just got home from a wrestling show. Oh my God. Yes.
Oh, how was it?
Yeah, that's amazing. 10 out of 10, Troy. Thanks for watching. Dedication.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for getting on after a wrestling show.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have to. Yeah, Scott says Fightful Select is great. They really are, and not just because I work there. I'm not just saying that, guys. Sean is great. He's got all the scoops, and that's how I knew that Cody was gonna have something on his head. So it comes out, the music is just so like cinematic.
Yeah.
I can describe it. Like that's the word, cinematic. And you see the camera go up, and then Cody's wearing this like nightmare family logo like mask. Insane. Whoever did that for him, shout outs to you. Little aplausos, little claps. You did that. You did that. That was crazy. Best friend,
he looked.
seeing Cody, what did you feel?
No,
like
that looked crazy. I mean, on TV, the first thing you see is Cody just popping up, right? And then
Yeah.
you just see this big old mask, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was for it. I was really for it.
cheering, and I remember I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is crazy. And then the camera pans out and you see Brandy.
Yes, that was my favorite part. Brandy, okay, Cody Rhodes, a star, right?
Yes.
Freaking star, amazing. For me, when Brandy comes out with him, he looks even bigger. Like to
Yeah.
me, he looks like even a bigger star. But Brandy, amazing. Freaking amazing. She knows how to make that entrance with him.
Yeah.
I feel like I would just be like, you know, if I'm coming out with Sergio or something, I don't know.
You're like,
Brandy looks amazing. That I really, 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 that was my favorite part of the whole
Yeah.
thing, to be honest with you, seeing Brandy with him.
I don't know if I put this in the vlog because I didn't want to get copyrighted, but I do. There is a reaction of like me and Lo, like we see Cody, right? We're like, oh my God. And then we see Brandy, we're like, oh my God, like insane. There was a big pop for Brandy. And I don't think you heard it as well on TV as it was in the field, but that pop for Brandy was big. It might have been bigger than Cody when we saw him in the mask.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's amazing because
Hell
Brandy
yeah.
deserves it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandy, from what I could remember when Cody was not in WWE, when he was doing New Japan and then afterwards in AW, I feel like Brandy did not get enough recognition.
Mhm.
I don't care for you guys. She just came out and was next to Cody. She makes Cody look good.
Yeah.
And that says a lot. That
Mhm.
shows a lot.
Yeah. She's an extension of his success, but also she's just such a successful woman
Yeah.
that you're like, oh my God, it's Brandy.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I'm super excited to see her. But man, that entrance, insane. And then Roman, of course, with his entrance, and then Rollins. This is night one, but man, amazing.
I'm like, are we talking about night one, Rollins?
I'm just because I'm thinking about now his
entrances.
entrance too. Like now that we're talking about entrances, him coming out in like a kind of like a New Orleans like festival, like he is the leader of the amazing.
I just remember hearing Sergio from the other room when they were doing their entrances. I wasn't watching it, and I just hear Sergio like, "What is Rollins wearing?" Mind you, this is coming from a man that all he does is wear black, so he knows nothing about fashion.
I loved Rollins' fit. I'm like, this is it, Rollins. You've outdone yourself, sir.
It hasn't been my favorite Rollins outfit overall, but that I liked it.
I thought it was great. I thought it fit the theme. It was grander than grand. Yeah. So it was great. But back to the main event, man. a lot of shenanigans. When Solo was out there, I was ready for a wrist run. I had my camera out. I was like John Cena. I had my little wristbands. I had my little John Cena wristbands that never give up.
You were ready.
And then the music hit, and I was like, oh my God. For those of you who don't know, John Cena is my favorite wrestler. He's the reason that I watch wrestling. And I've also grown to love Cody Rhodes so much. And having them both in the ring at the same time, having Cena come in to help Cody, oh my God, lost my mind.
It felt like I felt like a little girl when that was happening. First of all, I was watching it by myself because Sergio was working at night too.
Mhm.
So I was watching it by myself. So like sitting there watching this, watching John Cena come out,
Yeah.
and the way he came out to obviously help
Help
Cody because he
Cody,
was being attacked. I felt like when I was little, when John Cena would come out and help Shawn Michaels, I
Yeah.
literally felt exactly like that. That was so cute.
Oh, it's man, flashbacks.
That was a great moment. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. That was such a great moment for wrestling fans.
Yeah. And everybody lost their minds. Like, oh my God, John Cena.
You could hear it
And
on
there
the
was
TV.
still like some boos for John Cena, right? But I
Right.
feel like the overall attitude towards him now is like, man, this guy has really done something for the
icon.
business, right?
Yep.
So, and I feel like that's kind of the position that Cody's in right now. Like, people love him.
Yeah.
And he goes out of his way to be so nice to the fans. Like,
Yeah.
he does not have to be like that. He can be Cody and just wrestle and call it a day.
Yeah.
But he takes that time. He's outside signing the autographs. He's taking pictures with everybody, and he is truly a man of his fans.
And this is a man that has been doing this for years.
Yeah.
Because I saw Cody Rhodes before AEW was even a thing.
Mhm.
I saw Cody Rhodes outside of the pro wrestling store one
Mhm.
time. And he wasn't in the mood to really be taking pictures and stuff because that's when they had just done the press conference for All In.
Mhm.
And he was still being so sweet to the fans that were going up to him because
Yeah.
there was fans that were waiting for him, like
Mm.
me, to come up to us. And those fans that were going up to him, he was taking pictures, but there was a moment where he was like, you guys, I'm really not in the mood right now. He's
Mhm.
like, I'm trying to get my Uber, this and that. He's like, I'll take pictures later. He's respectful even when he doesn't have to
When
be,
he doesn't
because
have
you
to
could
be.
tell that they probably just wanted to get out of there. I don't know what was going on, but the point is, he is a very sweet man to his fans, and he's always been very sweet.
Shout outs to Cody, because we love you, Cody.
We love you so much, Cody.
You don't even know. You don't even know.
We're not even patriotic, but for Cody.
But for Cody, we'll switch it up. Okay, man. And then just seeing them together, you know, Cena coming to the rescue, and then of course you hear The Rock, and it's like, oh my God, the history that The Rock has with Cena.
Yeah.
You know, that they both shit on each other for going through being Hollywood but not Hollywood, like following each other's careers, whatever. But them being in the ring together, and then you see John's like, all right, boom, I gotta take my shirt off now because I mean business.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. It's just, it was too many emotions for me, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like I blacked out.
Yeah.
And, you know, Rock starts getting the advantage, and in my head, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm waiting for the glass to shatter. I'm
Yeah.
ready for Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything could have prepared me for hearing that Undertaker, like the gong.
Yeah.
I was like, what? The Undertaker? It kind of caught me out. Honestly, kind of anticlimactic because of my feeling towards the Undertaker. I don't really care.
That's how I felt about The Rock, to be honest, too.
Listen, I didn't care for The Rock because I wasn't, and that's no shade to The Rock, right? You have your favorite wrestlers, but like The Rock, to me growing up, like he wasn't my focal point. Like my focal point was always John Cena.
Same.
And it was like always other people. So I kind
Same.
of just missed the Rock train.
Same.
But it was cool to see The Rock and Cena, right?
I mean, to be honest with you, his theme song,
Yeah.
that was nice to hear.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. And a couple times during the weekend, I'm not gonna lie, I love anything nostalgic and anything that makes you feel nostalgic.
Yeah.
So his theme song was cool. I don't care for The Rock again,
Mhm.
like you,
Yeah.
but more because I was team Stone Cold Steve Austin when I was little.
Mhm.
Like I was like, I do not like The Rock, and I
Yeah.
still don't care for The Rock.
It's just how it is.
Okay.
Sorry. But man, the Undertaker coming out, I was like, oh, interesting. The Undertaker is coming out, I guess. Everybody was freaking out. People
Yeah, of
love the
course. People
Undertaker.
do love The
It's gonna
Undertaker.
get a pop. But I did learn that that they just couldn't come up with an agreement, a monetary agreement for having Stone Cold back. And that's why they're like, okay, we'll just use the
Oh, that's
Undertaker. So they were
interesting.
going to have
The plan was to have
to have Stone Cold.
I mean, that would have been
That would
cool
have been
as fuck. That would've been
amazing.
so
Oh
cool.
my God.
That would have been dope.
That would have been so good.
But okay, I mean, what we got was good though. That was
Yeah.
still pretty crazy. And like Cody, I mean, Cody did mention it. He's like, I can't. I'm sure for someone like Cody and Roman, it
Mhm.
was definitely different than the fans, right?
Yeah.
Because they're the wrestlers and these are
Mhm.
the people that they've looked up to for all
Yeah.
these years. So I'm sure them being on, I was gonna say on the ground, but in the ring, all like hurt, right?
Yeah.
And seeing all these icons in the ring with them, like that must have been dope as fuck for them too.
Yeah. Man, it was great.
Being a wrestling fan that night was definitely dope.
Oh, absolutely. And I know people, I've seen TikToks where people are still talking about it. They're like, oh my God,
Yes.
at WrestleMania, you know what WWE's doing? Like insane stuff.
I know that I also did notice that a lot of people that don't watch the wrestling
Mhm.
anymore were
We're
obviously tuning
talking
in
about
for
it.
WrestleMania, but
Yeah.
they were talking about that. And
Mhm.
they're like, "That's the shit that I was watching when I was little." They started to feel what we've been feeling all these
Yeah.
years.
And could you imagine if those people would have been watching through all these years, they would have been
Exactly.
dedicated
Yeah.
and they would have been, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I feel like this WrestleMania kind of brought a lot of generations together
Yes, it
because
did.
even if your parents were watching and the parents were watching with their kids, like the kids know who The Rock is.
Exactly.
Kids know who John Cena is.
Yeah.
And now they love Cody.
It's
like,
if my mom knows who John Cena is,
Mhm.
everyone knows who John Cena is.
Period. Period. My mama knows who Cody Rhodes is. They getting there.
Yes,
They're
yes,
absolutely
they are.
getting there.
Yes,
My
they are.
parents watched both nights of WrestleMania because I
They
told them,
did.
I was like, guys, I'm going to be there at Lincoln Financial Field. So they probably thought they were going to see me
They would
somewhere.
see you. That is so cute.
So they were watching both nights. They were sad. And my dad said he was like explaining the storyline to my mom that, like, Roman has been champion for so long and nobody can beat him. But now Cody, this is his time. And I was like, that's so cute.
That is so cute. I sometimes I try to tell my mom, but I mostly try to tell my mom the real chisme going outside of wrestling.
Yeah.
That's what I explained to her because she could care less about what's going on in wrestling. She really could. I try to tell her, Mom, go to a wrestling show with us so you can know what Edie, because my mom loves Edie.
Yeah.
So much. So I tell her, like, come watch what we love to watch.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, no, I'm just not into that. People hitting, I don't like violence. I'm
like,
okay.
I think our moms are the same. My mom says she gets anxiety watching.
Yes, my mom hates it. If she saw people bleed, she'd probably lose it. She'd probably be like, I don't want to be here. Get me out of here.
My mom's like, no, it's just like, I feel like what they feel. Like she's an empath at that point. I said, Mom, why? You're not in there. You're just supposed to clap, cheer, like just give a reaction.
Can you imagine if we told them one day, like, Mom, they want us to be managers and come out there in the ring with them? They're gonna be like,
I no, es que
mija. No. They're gonna think
so
we're gonna
worried.
wrestle or something.
They're so worried. But man, Cody finally finished his story rush run, and it's about damn time. Cody, we've been waiting. WWE, we've been waiting. We finally got it. And when I tell you, Rush Run,
were you on the edge of your seat?
We were all standing. We were standing.
Wow.
And immediately when like you knew it was done, right? You knew Cody was picking up that win and you're like, oh my God, it's happening. And I feel like I was still kind of hesitant. I was like, damn, Roman's probably going to kick out at 2 or something.
Yeah.
Like there's just no way. But Cody picked up the win and the arena lost it.
Yeah.
Everybody was jumping up and down. There was a kid behind me who was yelling his heart out, his friend. He was calling Roman Reigns by his government name. He was calling him Joe.
Oh.
He was like, I guess when he was beating up Cody, he's like, it's not over yet, Joe. It's not over yet. And me and Lo were losing it, okay? We're like, there's no way this little kid is out here telling Roman Reigns, it's not over yet, Joe.
Yeah.
Wild. But man, what a just fantastic night. It was really exciting. I want to watch it back just so I could see like collectively how the crowd shots were shown, but Cody wins, and then what's going through your head, best friend?
Oh my God, please. I started immediately crying.
Yeah.
I wasn't crying, but no. When I saw Cody's face after, he won, I was like, man.
This is
and when I
it.
started getting teary, and I was like, oh, we've been waiting for this. As Cody fans, we have been waiting for this. And I love this man so fucking much. I truly believe that he deserves it so much.
Yeah.
Like so much. I was so happy. I can't imagine how it felt to be there though. Because me at home, it was very exciting. I was very happy, very, very, very happy. I can't imagine being there. And like I would never shut up about it had I been there.
Okay. Wait. Also, completely forgot to mention Seth Rollins coming out during the Shield, Rust Friend. And I had just been talking to Mario. I'm like, could you imagine? like the Shield comes out, like, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not gonna happen. And then during the match, we hear the Shield music, and oh my god, for a split second, I was like, John Moxley's here.
Yes. Me too. I'm not gonna lie to you. Mario will probably give us a congratulations for this. I don't care. I sincerely, for a couple seconds, thought Mox is gonna come out.
Mox is gonna
Because
come
why were they
out.
making it so huge, right? Like you weren't seeing Seth. No, like for a couple seconds, it just felt like it's taking
For
forever.
a
What's
few
going
seconds,
on?
I heard, and I was like, okay, your minds, you're like trying to process. I'm like, okay, where are the lights headed?
Yeah.
Like, where is it pointing to? And I didn't see Seth Rollins come out, so I was like, John Moxley is here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
I don't know what happened. I was like, I don't know what kind of deal they worked up with AEW, but he's
But he's
here.
here.
And then, and in the second, I'm like, there's no way. And then seeing Seth just go in there, and I'm like, oh, it's just Seth. And I was like, we should have known better, because we've seen it. We've seen Seth do it, using the music,
Yeah.
and then just coming out by himself. But
I
man,
guess for a second we thought maybe AW and WWE talked for a
for a
couple seconds. We're like,
second,
you know what?
yeah,
Yes, take him for a minute. He can be on your TV
for
for
1 minute,
minute.
yes,
But
just
no.
show him, in the stage, and then have him go back out to the back. He
Right.
doesn't even have to go into the ring. But yeah, I think the talks were with that. Tony said that WWE didn't ask for Dean, didn't ask for them to use John Moxley as Dean Ambrose.
So when Tony says these things, I wonder if he's like, I would have let him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, yeah, right, Tony.
Right? Like, why are you bringing this up? But
Be so serious right now, Tony. I know you would not have. Okay, he tried to paint it out as like he was the bigger person in this, but I genuinely think that he would have been like, no.
You do?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, if I were Tony, as a fan, I would have been like, yeah. But as a businessman, and
Would have been like,
all the
no.
shit they've talked,
Get your
I
own
definitely-
talent.
Exactly. I would have been like, you know what? Get your own Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
He's mine now.
Man. Crazy stuff. Also, I'm like, what? It wouldn't have been a secret, because could you imagine if Tony had been like, oh yeah, I'll give the okay, that word would have got out quick.
Yeah, for 100%.
Right? They would have been like, oh my
100%.
God, Dean Moxley.
Dean Moxley. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
John Moxley's gonna go back to it for Mania, and people were gonna be like, well, why would he if not for Roman Reigns? So people
Right.
the dots would have been connected by the fans.
Look, I know though, right now talking about this, a lot of people are probably like, bitches be fucking for real.
Yeah.
I get it. We know.
We get it. We're
fucking know.
delusional. But you can't tell me that for 1 second you guys were like, oh my God, the Shield.
Or even
both
if
members.
you wouldn't want it. Like, tell me you wouldn't want it. You can't fucking tell me that. Everyone would have wanted that.
Mhm.
But not only that, I feel like, you never know. What if one day, 10, 15, 20 years from now, Tony Khan and Triple H actually work together and they're like, yes, you can borrow one of my talent. And it just starts off like that. You never know.
I don't see it as a crazy idea. I think that that's the true forbidden door when they talk about pay-per-views like that. Yeah, because there's just no way, like, when Jade was still in AEW, I was like, that forbidden door match is Bianca in WWE versus Jade in AEW. Like, that's the match. Like, that's just how things were making sense to me. But that's the true forbidden door in wrestling. I think that's going to be the pay-per-view that sells out places, especially now that they have like Will Ospreay. Like, you can't tell me they're not going to put on bangers like Ospreay versus Rollins.
Okada, are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
So many dream matches.
Crazy stuff. Troy saying, and isn't WWE open to working with more promotions now? Like they had Jordan at the Rumble, and Shayna worked GCW. I think, yeah, she did Bloodsport, and Charlie Dempsey, William Regal's child, also worked that event. So I think William Regal is kind of key, which I love to talk about William Regal. Don't even get me started about William Regal, but I think he is very key to these relationships that they are about to make, because I know he had a huge hand in picking up Julia and helping with that.
Okay.
So interessante, right? And I also think that he had a big part in sending a lot of NXT people over to the UK, because I know they were doing something specific over there. So he kind of facilitated that. But a lot of these promotions are going to start working with each other. And I do think that they had mentioned that TNA was going to start doing some stuff with them. So I don't know. And I think a fun way to explore that would be, of course, be the Rumble. But we would have to wait a couple more months for that.
Yeah.
We gotta lock H and Tony in a room and force them to speak. Yeah, we gotta lock H and Tony in
If
a
there's
room and
something
force
restaurants
them.
need to make, like that need to make it happen, it's having Triple H and Tony Khan. You work with Triple H or Tony.
hmm
I talk to Triple H or Tony, and we
hmm
just like trick them into getting
I
into
think
the
we gotta
same
do like good
room.
cop, bad cop for both of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like we'll both talk to Tony, we'll both talk to Triple H, and we're like, all right, listen here, pal. And then we'll switch it up.
Like Supernatural. You
hmm
know, we're gonna be like the fake
Mm,
FBI, fake
I kind of
FBI
know.
agents, and that's gonna be us with them.
They're gonna be like, please. And they're just gonna ban us from all the shows. Um
I don't think they'll
If
ban
you
us.
guys are not subscribed to us, yes, on YouTube, make sure that you do so. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. I think right now we're like about 1,800. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. Give it a like, give it a comment, share it. It really helps the algorithm of YouTube. You know, just show our videos to other wrestling fans, and
Yes, please.
hopefully we can get more Rest friends because we love all of you. Yeah, Rest friend, final thoughts on Mania.
Good. I mean,
Good.
my favorites won.
Yeah.
My favorites are the champs.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I
So
think that people were saying online that this was a refreshing Mania
yeah,
because it was one where we kind of got what we wanted.
yeah, I agree.
And it was also interesting. We forgot to talk about how Triple H and Stephanie came out and said that it was
Right.
now part of the Paul Levesque era. This was a new phase in wrestling for specifically WWE, and I'm ready for it.
That's crazy.
I'm ready for it.
That's crazy.
Right?
That is so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Just having been here for years and years and years and being fans of Triple H, did we ever think he would be running things one day? I
No,
didn't.
no, never. Do we ever think that DX was going to be running the show?
Hell no. For real, because you got Shawn Michaels in NXT
Yeah.
and you got Triple H, the main roster. That's crazy.
Rest friend, I want to do a video where we react to like some of the top DX moments
I would
because
love that.
I
Like
love DX.
that's oh my god. When I was a child watching that stuff,
They
like
fed me, okay? They were
exactly.
feeding me.
Exactly. They had us watching Monday Night Raw every single Monday,
hmm
even though we had school the next
Yep.
day.
You know, we had things to do
We had things to do. We were little children, and instead of being outside playing in the summer, we were inside
inside.
watching
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw. I agree with you. We have to do
Yeah.
that.
All right. Well, those are our final thoughts on WrestleMania. I thought it was a fantastic event. I want to watch it back, but being there, it was just so insane. I feel like I wasn't even processing things
No, I bet.
really. I feel like now that I'm like back, I'm like, oh, okay, like yeah, I do remember like I felt like that.
Yeah.
So it'll take me a little bit, but man, I think it was just such a fantastic event. But we also had a recent other fantastic event, and that's Windy City Riot. So we went to the show. The vlog will be up tomorrow, so make sure you guys check that out. But Rest Friend, what a great well, I was gonna say pay-per-view. What a great show.
Oh my goodness. Like literally one of the best shows I've been to in a while. Like I actually enjoyed every single match.
Mhm.
Obviously the entrances were extra cool for us because we were sitting right there by the ramp. I mean,
Yeah.
look at those pictures that we
Look at
got.
them. 10 out
We
of
got
10.
some very good content.
It was just
It was
incredible.
such a nice night. It was refreshing for me because this is my
Mhm.
first wrestling show of the year. This was Sergio's and I first wrestling show of the year. And although of course I had a little bit of high expectations as
Mhm.
a New Japan fan, at the same time I was like, I don't know. Like we've been to shows recently where it's like we just go and watch and you don't
Yeah.
really get out of there saying, "Oh my god,
It's
that
not the
was
vibe.
amazing." Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, this time my expectations were met and I had a great time.
Yeah.
I want to okay, first of all, let's talk about the fact that there was no smelly people around us. There wasn't any annoying men around us. We
It's crazy because I talked to you a little bit about this that we like I thought it was a different type of crowd,
yeah.
and it was like it wasn't like people were not obnoxious. There was no specific smells. Everybody was very respectful. Even when we were trying to like run up to get to like the barricades, people would make room.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy that people are just like accommodating and everybody's super nice and respectful.
Yeah.
It wasn't like when we go to an AEW show where it's kind of like a free for all. Same thing with WWE. It's kind of like a free for all too, because there's just so many kids and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So
I feel like we have a lot of experiences where there's just like a lot of drunk people around us and they're
Mhm.
being obnoxious for very different and annoying reasons.
Yeah.
And this time we didn't have that at all. Everyone was so quiet, so respectful,
Mhm.
loud still. We were very loud. We were a
Yeah.
very loud crowd, but a respectful loud crowd, at least in our section.
Yeah, respectful and kind. So I thought we had a great time, and we saw some of our faves. I was really excited. Mind you, we bought the tickets for the show before we knew what the card was,
Yeah.
and I remember when they announced that Mustafa Ali was going to be there, and we were like, "Oh my God, we're going to see our Chicago boy. He's going to be there. It's going to be 10 out of 10." And then we saw that Eddie Kingston was going to be there, and John Moxley was going to be there, and Nick Nemeth. And I was just like, "Oh my God, these are just amazing names." And then Jack Perry, which we're going to talk about Jack Perry, guys. But man, just 10 out of 10 show. What was your favorite match?
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I feel like my favorite match was probably the Eddie Kingston match.
Yeah.
Well, what did they call it? What kind of match was it?
It was I don't remember specifically, but it was like a 4-on-4 was it I don't want to say it was a street fight, but it was like those were kind of the rules. Like it was a free for all.
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston came out with a trash can and he immediately just threw it out, and it was him, TJP, Homicide, and then Jeff Cobb, which insane team, right? And then David Finlay came out for the opposing team, and I was like, oh my God, guys, I'm a David Finlay fan. And this is the first time that I've seen him in public.
Yeah.
I literally, you're gonna see it in the vlog, but I said, oh my God. And then I was like, oh my God. Like,
well, the thing for this match was that we had no idea who was gonna come out. It was
Eddie's
gonna
team.
be Eddie Kingston versus Gabe Kidd.
Yeah.
And we were like, who are they both going to bring out? I was in my head like, who are they going to bring out? I wonder who they're going to bring out. And then we already mentioned who came out with Eddie. And then Gabe Kidd comes out. First of all, Gabe Kidd, first time seeing him in person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he comes out and immediately is talking
shit.
Trash.
Yeah.
Like, he was talking a lot of shit. Edie and I were looking at him like, what?
We're like, us?
Us? He was like, everybody.
And we're like,
and we're like,
oh my God.
I felt a little offended.
Yes. And then Clark Connors comes out with him, and I love Clark Connors. Amazing. 10 out of 10. Colin is saying that John won his IWGP title at the same arena that he won his first AEW title. That's fun fact. That's nice.
Really?
Yeah, and I want to say that they mentioned it on commentary for Dynamite for Collision too.
What show was it? What show did he win? That I seriously thought he won the title at All Out. Oh my gosh, I'm crazy.
That's why was All Out not in
at Wintrust?
At Wintrust?
No.
Did he win it on Dynamite?
The only pay-per-view I remember at Wintrust is the first Revolution 2020.
Colin, put more info in there. But I want to say, yeah, it's true. Because Tony Schiavone was also mentioning it on Collision last night.
Okay.
So man, just Revolution. Yeah.
Oh, it was a Revolution. Why do I not remember that?
Yeah.
I guess because that tag team match was like my favorite.
Oh, that match was amazing.
Yeah.
With Orange. Oh no, with Kenny and Hangman.
No. Yeah.
But that's when Orange had his match with Pac.
That's when we saw Orange. Yep. Yes, you're so right.
That was one of my favorite matches.
Yeah. So that's when John won the championship. Really? Wow.
Long time.
My memory is horrible. We all know this already. Horrible memory.
Thankfully, we have our best friends to refresh memories.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my favorite match. What was your favorite match?
I want to say probably Zack Sabre Jr. So probably
I mean, he also won. So
love Zack Sabre Jr. and he fought Matt Riddle, and it was interesting because Matt Riddle doesn't wear shoes when he wrestles. So what is Zack Sabre Jr. gonna do? Of course, he's gonna break all your toes. Duh. So that was just a match that I was really looking forward to. Send. It was great. Also, Jack Perry coming out with a squad of guards who somebody told me that Jose, the assistant, who recently was let go from AEW, he was one of them.
Oh.
And I was like, interessante. So Jack comes out in a Chicago flag, and my immediate thought was amazing. I'm living for it. Love it. What a ballsy man. Yeah. I respect it.
Oh yeah, me too.
I respect it. I love.
He can have the Chicago flag.
He can have it. The Chicago flag looked great on him. And I was cheering. You were cheering.
Yep.
I don't know what I was expecting from the crowd, but it was pretty split.
I too, and you know what, you were saying that in the group chat that you feel like it was split, like it was 50-50. To be honest
Mhm,
with you, I feel like there was more people on his side
mhm.
than people booing, because yeah, you could hear the boos,
Yeah,
but to me the cheering was louder.
yeah.
And what really makes me feel that way is because during the match, a lot of CM Punk fans were trying to start CM Punk chants,
Mhm.
and it wasn't working.
It
It really
wasn't.
wasn't working. So that's why to me, I'm like, no, I feel like more than 50% of the crowd was on Jack Perry's side.
Yeah, people were saying, like, there was chants that were like, "You got choked out," but the other half of the crowd was chanting, "No, you didn't."
Yeah.
And there was chants of like, "Oh, cry me a river," and some people were like, "Oh, well, that's shade to him." And I'm like, "No, it's not. He's the one that literally said, 'Cry me a river.' Why would you say 'Cry me a river' to him as a sign of disrespect? Like that's not making sense, guys.
Yeah.
Get with the story. Like it's
Mhm.
not making sense." But yeah, I want to say that a lot of people were for Jack Perry, and it was
Yeah.
nice to hear.
It really
There was
was.
people in the crowd that had signs that was like, "It's not Jack Perry's fault.
Yeah.
Jack Perry's a scapegoat." Like, and he was pointing things out. So I want to say it like Jungle Boy's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
He's gonna be great, and I'm excited for his character. He's not a bad wrestler, guys. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know
It's
what the
just that,
problem is with. He just got put in a also in a position that he didn't. I don't care how anybody talks to you. You don't put your hands on somebody,
yeah, of course not.
especially at work.
I mean the fact that people want to act like this is a flex, like their favorite wrestler choked someone out,
Yeah,
uh that first of all, he didn't even see it coming,
yeah.
right? You can tell in the freaking video. We all watched the video. We're just going to talk about the video now,
We're
Rush
talking about the
Fine.
video.
Let's
Yes,
just
Trust
talk
Fan.
about the
Let's
video since we're
let's
there.
do it.
We all saw the video. If you haven't,
Yeah.
go look it up. But there's the clip where they
Mhm,
show that first of all, CM Punk wasn't even there. He had to, wherever the fuck he was at, he went to Jack Perry,
mhm,
who was already there, right? Went up to him. Who knows what the fuck they're saying? It doesn't fucking matter. You just all of a sudden see him throwing a punch, right? That
mhm.
he hits
Like
him,
he like grabs him. Yeah.
and you can see that Jack Perry, even at that moment, he's like, "What the fuck?" And
Mhm,
then he goes after him.
yeah.
I don't get. I really don't give a fuck if you're a fan of his or not.
Mhm,
You have to admit that Jack Perry was caught off guard. You
yeah.
have to admit that you can tell that the one that was looking for a problem
Yeah.
was CM Punk.
And even if he was like, again, it doesn't matter what Jack Perry said. He could have been like, he could have wished death on all of Punk's family. Like he could have said the craziest things. You handle. You are responsible for your own actions, right? Like you are how you react.
Yeah.
So it's just wild to me that people were still like, "Oh my god, well yeah, Punk did exactly what he said he did in the interview." And I'm like, "Okay, that still does not make it okay." The fact that he said, "Oh yeah, I just choked him out a little." That's not funny.
Yeah.
Like
That's such a weird flex to me.
I don't know. The takes that I was seeing, and I have my little like notes on the side, but people were saying like, why would AEW bury themselves like this? They were saying why the Bucks are petty, that CM Punk was right, that everything he said in the Ariel Helwani interview was right. But then on the opposite end, I was also seeing people who say like he assaulted his coworker, that's not cool. And that, people are confused that others are still defending Punk, which I am also. You can be a fan of whoever you want, whatever. People have their opinions, but it's just like CM Punk fans are very like Taylor Swift a Jace. Taylor Swift fans a Jace.
Like I said the other day, to me, CM Punk fans are delusional, and this is coming from Jungkook's girlfriend. Like I want
I'm
everyone to know that.
like we're also delusional. We totally get
We
it, guys.
fucking get it, but at the
Yeah.
same, it's okay to admit that your favorite was wrong, and at the same time, and you know what, it's okay to think that he wasn't wrong.
Mhm.
Honestly, whatever. To me, my issue with this whole thing though is that if CM Punk can come out here and talk his shit, if Triple H can come out here and throw little jabs, why can't Tony Khan and the Bucks show this video?
Mhm.
Why do they always have to be like, well, Tony Khan could have been the bigger person and
Yeah.
just handle his business, behind closed doors, da 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 da. Why? Why can't he be petty? Why isn't he allowed to have feelings? Not just trying to defend them either,
Mhm.
but it's fucking true.
Yeah.
Like they're allowed to feel some type of way and respond in a petty way. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if one side gets to do it, why can't the other? Like,
Yeah.
that's where I have a problem. Why are we going to talk shit about the Young Bucks and Tony Khan and AEW, but go ahead and praise CM Punk and Triple H and say they were right?
Yeah.
Why are they right, but the other ones aren't?
Yeah.
Why can't they both be right? Why they should both sides should be allowed to take out that anger and vent if they want to.
Yeah.
That's where my issue is. Like I said, I don't give a fuck what the hell CM Punk is saying. I don't care what Triple H is saying. I don't care what the Bucks and Tony are saying. To me, it's like if one of them can talk shit, the other one can respond. That's my thing.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say about that. I'm glad that they aired it. So people can't be like, oh, well, we don't really know what Punk did. Like, we haven't seen the footage, so we don't really know. Now everybody knows what happened. It doesn't matter. Again, people were like, oh, maybe we need the audio. We don't need the audio.
No, we don't need the audio.
Don't care what Jack Perry said. I don't care what Punk said. If y'all cannot have a civil conversation, Punk was the first one to swing. And that's one thing. He went for Jack Perry, but behind the monitors was Tony Khan. And he went up there to him also aggressively. Like, that's wild.
So, like, yeah, of course Tony Khan is allowed to respond however he wants. When people were making fun of him, like, I bet he's scared. He probably was. Tony Khan looks like he's not a fighter.
I'd be scared too.
And exactly, if a man like that who's clearly he was
who just attacked
angry,
somebody,
right?
And now you're gonna like come from like what? That's wild.
And this isn't the first time.
Exactly.
We had Brawl Out, right? So I know Tony knows, and I'm sure Tony knew what CM Punk is capable of. We don't. I don't know if he can fight or not. I'm sure Tony Khan did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy situation. Honestly, when they announced that they were going to show the video, I was like 50-50. I'm like, they're going to show it, they're not going to show it. They're going to show it, they're not going to show it.
I was like, this is going to be like a skit.
Yes.
It's going to be them in costume. Like,
Yes.
I don't know what they're going to do, but I did not think that they were going to show that footage.
Yeah.
The fact that they did, I was like,
leading up to it, when the Young Bucks were like, talking about it and stuff, and you can tell they kind of mixed it into like turning into a storyline as well with FTR. I was like, okay, they're probably not gonna show it then. And then they showed it. And I was like, the whole time I was like, I wonder what the group chat is thinking right now.
Shook because I genuinely did not think that they were going to show it, Rest Friend. And then the footage starts playing and I'm like, oh, I was like, oh my God, that's Samoa Joe. And then I'm like, oh my God. And then Jack Perry's right there. And then Punk is coming out here. And
you see Malachi come out.
Punk was there looking for a fight. Punk was there looking for a fight. But people are like, I don't know. For me, all of that this shows is that Punk was in the wrong. He did not control himself. He is the bigger person. Well, not in this moment, but he's the older guy. He's the veteran in the locker room. You could have just been like, all right, bro, I don't fuck with you. Like, that's it, right? But he didn't. You've put your hands on a coworker. And I get it. People are like, oh, well, things happen at work all the time and people fight and whatever. Keep that behind closed doors. But like, again, CM Punk, he didn't have to talk about what happened in that interview. Exactly. He could have been like, hey, I don't want to talk about that. Next question. Exactly. But here we go, which also shows me that Punk has not let it go.
Exactly. I mean, that's literally the thing. I also did not want to come on here and talk about this again because we already talked about how we felt a little bit about it, right? But at the same freaking time, he's gonna come out here and talk shit. Okay, here's the thing. CM Punk is not our favorite, right? We are huge Young Bucks fans.
Yes.
And it's okay if you're not. It's okay if you don't like the Young Bucks and you prefer CM Punk. I literally don't.
And it's okay if you like CM Punk, right? But this is just
totally fine. Yeah. But as people who are not CM Punk fans since Brawl Out, because before that we were for him.
Yeah.
But since Brawl Out, we were like, F that. If he's gonna come out here and still talk shit about this, everyone else is allowed to come out here and talk shit about it. His fans can be on Twitter and say he was right, this and this and that. That's fine. Everyone else is also allowed to come out here and be like, fuck CM Punk. You know what I mean? Everyone's gonna say whatever they feel, and that's the thing. I'm just tired of seeing the fans fight about it too.
Yeah, I don't. And they fight with each other, and they go so hard. Again, like we said, we think CM Punk is in the wrong, and that's the Rest Friends take.
Right.
But I'm not gonna argue with everybody on Twitter because CM Punk is your favorite.
I'm not gonna argue with anybody. I'm literally not gonna argue with anybody.
And I was like, I was arguing with some people, Rest Friend. But then I was like, it doesn't matter.
Hell no.
Like I don't have time for this, and AEW is gonna be fine. All again, what this video shows is that he couldn't control himself in that time. We all have things to learn, right? We all
Yeah.
have we have to reflect on the things that we do, and I hope that people are reflecting on the things that they did.
My main thing about this whole issue, and I'm gonna be the one to bring this shit up,
Mhm.
is that it's really aggravating to see that people are more mad about this video being released than anyone was ever upset about Vince McMahon and the things that he did. I'm
Mhm.
fucking serious. When the whole Vince McMahon thing came out, there wasn't as much rage coming from fans
From
as there
fans.
was about this fucking video being released.
Mhm.
And that's what really pissed me off. And I'm not gonna lie to you, that's literally what I was thinking after the fact. And I saw a couple tweets from fans that were talking shit. I'm like, why are you guys so mad over this when not that long ago we learned so many things about Vince McMahon and all of a sudden everyone forgot about it?
And y'all are not crucifying him.
Exactly. No one gave a
It's
shit
not
about
it's not giving.
no
Yeah.
one said I'm gonna stop watching WWE because of this. But you're gonna stop being fans of AEW because they released a little clip of
this is such a petty thing, and people are wishing like so many bad things for
yeah,
Jack
that's the
Perry, and I'm just
thing.
like, that's you guys are weird.
No, that's fucking crazy.
You guys are weird. Let's read some of the comments that we have on here. So C Henry saying CM Punk has issues and showed his complete while he was in AEW. I never heard of any negative issues about the Bucks.
Thank you, C. Henry.
Troy saying, honestly, I thought we moved way past from this drama, but here we are again. Here we are again. He said Hook didn't even know what to do.
I think Hook didn't want to do anything.
Hook was probably like, damn, I never been in this situation before. He's like, I fight on TV, not backstage.
Literally.
Damn. And he was like holding his little championship, and he's like, what do I do?
But to be honest, good for him because he didn't have to do anything. So Mojo was already there.
Yeah.
There was other people there that were separating them. I'm sure he didn't want to get in the middle of it. I'm pretty sure that he's friends with both of them. I'm sure he's cool with both of them.
He's probably like, damn, I had to pick a side right now.
It's like, right, like what was he gonna do? Like I said, there was other people doing something there, so I could understand why he didn't care to do anything.
Yeah.
That was funny.
C. Henry saying, to be honest, Ariel, the interviewer, is so biased for one. Nick Khan was his former agent before WWE. It is what it is. You know, as a journalist and as a interviewer, you have to ask the questions.
Yeah.
And that's something.
Oh no, but Ariel's a huge Tony Khan hater for sure. I agree.
But that's like, you know, it's hard because you have to like pick and choose what you ask.
Yeah.
And in moments like that, yeah, that is like a great that's a scoop. That's the headline, you know. Again, you pick and choose like what you want to ask about, but it's also like he had worked him, and I think Ariel is really good at this. Like as an interviewer, it's something that you should be good at. Is you don't ask the hard hitting questions first. You put those in the middle. You put those in the end. So he really established a relationship with somebody, especially if they hadn't chatted before, which I doubt that they had not chatted before. I think they might be friends in real life, right? Him and Punk. I don't know, but the thing is that you should do is like you build something up, you talk about easy things, and then you're like, okay, now once that they've laughed with me a little bit, they kind of know how I am. Now I'm going to ask a little bit tougher questions. And now because we have had a good conversation for the last 10 minutes or for the last hour, I'm going to be able to ask these questions. And I mean, the fact that Punk responded, because again, it's also a Punk thing. He didn't have to answer that question. He could have moved along. But it is what it is. I haven't listened to the full 2-hour interview. I've got like the bits and pieces of the clips that I've seen, but that was Tony deciding to release this, which I heard the Bucks didn't want to release it. I heard the Bucks were like, all right, whatever, we'll do the storyline, but that's it. I'm sure they're also tired about this. They're like, God damn it, we can't get rid of this guy.
They were a part of the issues with CM Punk. I could imagine that they don't want to talk about it. They've been a little vocal about how much it affected them mentally. That I could imagine that they don't want to talk about it. I don't know if anyone else caught Kenny Omega talking about Brawl Out.
I did. Did you hear what he said?
And I loved that he talked about it because
he talked about it in his stream, right?
Yeah, he talked about it in his stream. He talked about his point of view and what his goal was when the fight was happening. And I really liked that he said that, you know, his main goal was to protect Larry, the dog.
Yeah.
And he's like, That was my main goal. That wasn't anyone else, everyone else's main goal. Everyone else's main goal was, I guess, to throw hands. And he's like, so, other things happened. But then in the end, he was like, to be honest with you, sometimes there are situations where you can't just talk it out with people and you do have to fight and throw hands. And
Yeah.
I was like, I respect that, Kenny, because that's facts.
I had heard a little part where he was like, don't make me an EVP in 2024.
Yeah.
I was like, it's got to be so hard for him because he is like a leader in that locker room, right? And people were like, of course you want to talk to Kenny Omega to see like, how you can be better and what you can do, just like advice, right?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, he's like who you go to for like bigger issues. And
Mhm.
it's like, I'm sure Kenny's like, well, god damn, I just want to help people be better wrestlers. And here we are with this drama 24/7.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was just like, don't make me an EVP. I was like, said, poor Kenny. He's stressed. Stop stressing out that man, please.
Oh man, no, I really do hope that this stays in the past now. I feel
Mhm.
like CM Punk's in WWE now. What more better opportunity than to move fucking on from this than this, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's no need to talk about it anymore. I feel
I feel like we're gonna be talking about it next month.
coming from anybody though, because like I said, the reason we talk about it is because they're the ones bringing it up.
And of course, here at Rest Friends, we talk about all the chisme guys. So whatever's happening in wrestling, we're gonna talk about it here. But back to Jungle Boy
Yeah,
and
but back
how
to
a Windy City Riot and how he was received. I after he lost his match, it's we ran up to like the like barricades and I
Yeah.
had like stuck my hand out and he touched my hand,
Yeah.
hand on hand, guys. I was like, it was amazing. It made my day. He was great. And this also shows that Jungle Boy's popular.
Yeah.
His scapegoat shirt sold out on his website. What else? I think there was another statistic. Like he had his shirt sold out, and then something else. I don't remember what specifically it was, but good for him.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be
I agree.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Jungle Boy, of Jack Perry, and yeah, I fully. People are saying that this is gonna lead up to him joining the elite.
I mean, I think that's a very cool story to think about, I guess,
Mhm,
right? That's not a thing right now, but
mhm,
I don't know. I hope he continues in New Japan.
mhm,
Just because the little bit that he's done by just showing that he's with House of Torture
mhm.
to me has been great. So I would love to continue seeing that.
Yeah, Troy is saying, you know what? No more interviews. No more interviews for wrestlers. All right, we're just. You guys, the wrestlers can't go on any more shows because y'all be starting too much.
Unless it's Rest Friends, we're not gonna ask.
Unless
those
it's Rest Friends,
questions.
we're not gonna ask hard questions. We're gonna ask what you're wearing.
We're gonna ask them what's your favorite
What did you
cologne.
eat for lunch? What's your go-to meal?
Do you? I would honestly ask the male wrestlers. Do you use 4-in-1 shampoo or do you actually buy shampoo and conditioner and
And if
body
so,
wash?
which one?
Right. Those are the questions
Because
we would.
that's wild. Scott is saying, I think this clears the way for Jack Perry coming back and costing FTR the tag titles next week and joining the elite. So I feel like Jack could do both, right? I feel like he could have a really good run in New Japan and also be kind of featured, maybe more in New Japan, but then still come back and do some stuff in AEW.
I mean, if that's possible, yeah. I mean, I feel like that also works though. Either him staying in New Japan or joining the elite. To me, it works.
Yeah.
I do wish he would stay in New Japan, but him joining the elite would be
great.
dope.
Yeah. It'd be
It's
exciting. It's new.
It would just obviously continue the conversation. Unfortunately.
All right, Rest Friend. We talked a lot. We talked about a lot of things. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about before we finish up our
No, I mean,
convo?
just Windy City Riot was so awesome. It was very nice to get the opportunity to see two of my favorites, Hiromu Takahashi
Mhm.
and Tetsuya Naito. It was
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna see Hiromu again. I'm sure we are. I'm sure he'll be back. But to see Naito for me was so surreal because he's he's like my wrestling god. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. People would probably think it'd be someone like Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Shawn Michaels. It's Naito. So to be able to see him in person, even if it was just for a little while, dope. I can't explain what I felt when his music started. I can't explain what I felt when I was waiting to see his feet, because since we were right by the entrance, you can see before the wrestlers were gonna come, you could see their feet by the curtain. So when I saw his botas, I was like, oh my god, I can't explain that feeling of him coming out and me just feeling like,
Yeah.
holy shit, he's right here. I can't explain it, but it was amazing. And I John Moxley mentioned it too after he won, which I was devastated, you guys. It was hard for me to be happy for Moxley
Mhm.
because literally it all happened so fast. I didn't really think that Naito was gonna lose that championship already, and especially here in Chicago. So to see him lose that was devastating as a Naito fan. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie to you. Um, but at the same time, while the match was going on, I remember looking at Naito and telling myself, okay, bitch, take it in.
Mhm.
Take it in, because this is it. Like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna have this
See him
opportunity
again.
again.
Yeah.
I told Sergio, I know you and I will be in Japan one day and we will go see a New Japan show in person in Japan. But I don't know if Naito's gonna be there.
Mhm.
Everyone that knows about Naito and his condition, like, we all know, like, yeah, Naito is.
Yeah.
I'm sure
He's
he's
towards the end of
nearing.
his career.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's talked about it, and you can tell he looks tired from like years before,
Mhm.
right? And of course he fucking is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I'll ever get that opportunity again. So I did try to take in as much as I could. And it was just I feel like only wrestling fans can understand this though.
Yeah.
Like being able to see that person that you've been watching on TV
For
for
a while. Yeah.
years and not knowing if you'll get the opportunity to see them in person. Uh beautiful, 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 beautiful. And like I said, Moxley did mention that he's
Yeah.
like, for everyone that he's like, you possibly won't have the opportunity to go to Japan and see them in person. He's like, I'm so glad that you guys were able to see them
him
here in
here.
Chicago. And I felt that shit, man. I was like, thank you, Mox. This is why I am proud of him as a wrestling fan. Like,
Mhm.
first wrestler to hold the WWE Championship, AEW Championship, and now New Japan.
Yeah.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. But yeah, it was a
Wonderful
really beautiful,
accomplishment.
beautiful night. I'm very grateful that we were given the opportunity to see so many greats. So many greats.
Yeah. Troy saying, what are our thoughts on Stephanie Vaquer, who is the champion for New Japan for the women?
First, it was really cool seeing
Yeah.
her in person. First of all the women are beautiful.
So
Beautiful to see
talented.
the women. I
Yeah.
love her gear. I love the color of her gear.
Shout out to her. She speaks Spanish. So she's from Chile. She's
Oh,
Chile.
Chile
Yeah.
is
She's from
Chilena.
Chile. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I feel like some people in the crowd were like saying like
Mexicana. And I was like,
and I was
wrong.
like, I know she's not Mexicana.
I was like, wrong,
Like,
guys.
learn where she's from first before
I don't know if
say stuff like that.
if
But
she might be mixed, but she speaks Spanish, so we speak Spanish. She Hispanic, okay? That's what's important. But yeah, she was great. Really, really cool. And again, just to see these women really go out there and kill it. And even the pre-show, like we were able to see Trisha Dora,
yeah,
and she did great. We saw some women from Stardom. Great stuff. The women are killing it.
the whole show was very good,
Mhm.
including the women. Yes,
Mhm.
everything was so good. Um, yeah, it's just that for me, obviously, like the two things that stood out was the fact that I was there to see
Mhm.
Hiromu Takahashi and
Yeah.
Naito. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But it really, really was great. We had very good interactions
Yeah.
with wrestlers.
Yeah. They were so nice. And it's just the fact that we were able to see them right there in front of us.
Yeah.
It was just such a different experience. And the Wintrust Arena, I think, was set up perfectly for that
It
show.
was. I was telling Edie.
Yeah.
Sorry, this mic keeps falling.
Oh,
I was telling Edie that it gave me All In vibes. The first All In, by the
Oh,
way,
yeah.
guys. I did not go to London. The first All In.
He said, not that one.
No, not that one. It gave me those vibes. Just the atmosphere. I guess the way things were set up. Yeah, I don't know. I
It's a little
have
different.
I have nothing but amazing, beautiful memories from All In, and now this New Japan show, the same.
Yeah.
Very cute, very nice.
It was a really, really nice show. I had a great time, and it was great to be with you and Sergio because I had not seen you guys forever. So I think we had a really, really great time, and I think that show just really like was a good way to top off like the WrestleMania week,
Yeah.
whatever that I had. But it was fantastic, and I'm glad that we got to be at the New Japan show together because I'm telling you, I think it's one of my favorite shows.
No,
So it was great.
absolutely. I mean, for it to be my first wrestling show of the year, beautiful, amazing. I
Perfect.
wouldn't have it any other way.
All right, guys. Well, that has been this week's episode of Rust Friends. And I don't know if we're going to be back next week unless something crazy happens in wrestling,
Right.
but this was a pretty long episode. I feel like we covered a lot. And yeah, I think just this week has been really, really crazy. But if you guys ever want to chat with us, make sure that you hit us up in the DMs. Head up to our Instagram on Rest Friends. You can chat with us. We always respond to the comments here on YouTube. So yeah, definitely leave a message. And if you can never catch a live stream, you can always listen to the pod. We always post it afterwards, and head over to anywhere that you stream your favorite pods, like Spotify, iTunes, Apple, literally wherever. We are on it. So thank you so much for being here with us and for 2 hours on a Sunday morning. We love you guys. Thank you so much for showing us support constantly. And yeah, make sure that you subscribe if you're not subscribed. And if you are, then leave a little nice comment, a little corazoncito, a little heart, do something.
Look, Corazoncito, because we'll send it back.
A little
Also,
hearts.
I didn't realize so many wrestlers use
That's
this
so weird. That is
corazoncito.
wild.
I had no idea. I was like, damn. I really thought that was only in the K-pop community, and now
How do you
I'm
do
going
it?
to a
Just a
wrestling
little,
show. Yeah,
just a little.
now I'm going to a wrestling show, and they're doing this. I was like, okay, Shota was one of them. I was like, okay, Shota. I was getting him the little corazoncitos too.
Period. All right, bye guys. We will see you next time. Have a great